Chapter 563. How long was the history of the three major forces? Although it was not 500 or 600 years, it was still more than 100 years. Establishing the three major forces was the general trend. The human race needed such forces to protect them. The first force was the Holy Sanctum, which established the Holy Sanctum as the leader of the three major forces. With the change of time, people suddenly realized that other than the demon race, the human race was also incomparably chaotic. There were all kinds of internal strife and killing each other. Therefore, the Trial Union was born. Other than protecting the human race, it also shouldered the responsibility of establishing new laws and calming the internal strife among the human race. The existence of the two major forces to protect the human race internally and externally. As things settled down, the Bounty Hunter Guild was born. The era needed such an existence, so it had the value of being born and existing. It would also be recognized and accepted. The three major forces protected the five major empires. There was no difference in strength. Their duty was the same, to protect the human race. As the three major forces were deeply rooted, countless forces wanted to establish their own forces. No matter how big their forces were, it was impossible for them to establish a fourth major force. No matter how powerful they were, they could not reach 1,000th of the three major forces. What kind of concept was 1,000th of the three major forces? Half of the 8 major families of Tiandu added together was about 1,000th of the three major forces. The three major forces represented the country. It was not something that an individual could compare to. At the same time, the three major forces were more legitimate. To be more precise, the three major forces were not the forces of a single person. Of course, the three major families that established the three major forces were indeed top-notch existences. For example, the Morong family of the Holy Sanctum. That was Morongqing's family. That was in existence above the 8 major families. There was no other family more powerful than them. Now, in an era that was basically consolidated and stable, what did Lin Xian have to establish the fourth major force? Not to mention the fourth major force. Even if Lin Xian wanted to become an existence like the 8 major families in China, it was almost impossible. If this could not be achieved, not even 1,000th, how could he achieve the fourth major force? However, this was what Lin Xian wanted to do. In the past, he did not want to. In the past, he thought that it was enough to live a quiet life without being disturbed by others. Now that he thought about it, it was really a joke. In Ling Ying's opinion, even if Lin Xian reached the level of the 8 major families, it was useless. After all, both of them were daughters of the 8 great clans. Forget it, forget it. Let's not talk about this, Lin Xian said. Is running away your method? Ling Ying asked. Lin Xian shook his head. No, I already have a preliminary plan. I don't want to become one of the 8 great clans, but an existence that surpasses the 8 great clans. Moreover, I believe that only I can do it in this world. Lin Xian looked at Ling Ying and said, I will make sure that I have what it takes to face you. Surpass the 8 great clans. Ling Ying shook his head. What? I don't believe you. Lin Xian smiled. It's not that I don't believe you, but I think that your thinking is too simple. Perhaps you don't understand what kind of existence the 8 great clans are. It's not as simple as having a group of powerful cultivators. I understand. Lin Xian nodded. But what can you rely on to rise in this era? Ling Ying still felt that it was basically impossible. Even if Lin Xian reached the heavenly venerable realm, or even the great virtual realm, it was basically impossible. This was not something that could be done by becoming stronger, unless you were strong enough to have absolute authority in the human race. Do you have enough potions? Lin Xian asked. Ling Ying pondered after hearing that. Potions. Of your 3 major potions, the attribute enhancement potion is the most tempting. The other 2 are not that great for those with high strength, but you have to be able to mass produce them. Ling Ying suddenly realized something after saying that. Then, she raised her head and looked at Lin Xian in surprise. You can't be. Lin Xian smiled and nodded. If I can mass produce them, even if it's just the physique enhancement potion and mental cultivation potion, it's enough for me to develop to a certain scale. The 5 great empires are still mostly made up of weak martial artists. It's like a phone, everyone knows how to use it. But the difference is that I have monopolized this industry. When the time comes, even the 3 major forces will have to talk to me about cooperation. Tell me, do you think I have a certain level of qualification? Ling Ying also revealed a surprised expression when she heard Lin Xian's words. If this development was on the right track, then Lin Xian would have a unique advantage. His advantage was that he had a monopoly, and it was something that everyone in the continent would be interested in. Can you do it? Ling Ying asked expectantly. Lin Xian said, I don't know. I'm missing a key thing now. Funding? Lin Xian's lips curled up. What I'm missing is you and Chushua together. Ling Ying. Go to hell. Bastard. Ling Ying cursed. But she was happy because she knew that Lin Xian had something that no one else could have. The continent might need this kind of trend. In the past, didn't the continent also need some kind of trend? And then the 3 major forces would emerge? However, Ling Ying didn't really believe Lin Xian's words. She definitely didn't believe it, and thought that he was just joking. But Lin Xian was actually serious. She opened her heart to Lin Xian, and talked a lot. So she temporarily got over it. She was even able to accept the fact that Lin Xian had several girls at the same time, although she felt wronged. Little Ying, are you going to Chushua's place for barbecue tonight? Go to hell. Are you trying to get us drunk again? Ling Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. How is that possible? Let's exchange some feelings. I didn't do anything when we got drunk the last 2 times. And you still don't believe in my character. What kind of character do you have? Get lost. I'm going home. Ling Ying said unhappily. It was almost late at night. What home? Let's not go home tonight. Lin Xian then hugged her slender waist. What are you doing? Going to Rose Heaven. Ling Ying. In the end, this easily forgiving girl was still tricked by Lin Xian. And then she was bullied by Lin Xian. This is a little interesting. In the most luxurious room, Morong Qing was drinking red wine with her legs crossed. She had just returned from outside and saw 2 figures. Then she took a closer look. Damn, wasn't this that bastard Lin Xian and Ling Ying? Who was this Ling Ying? She was the daughter of one of the 8 major families in Tiandu. These 2 people actually. That's not right. Why did I hear that this Lin Xian and Han Chushua are boyfriend and girlfriend? What's going on? Morong Qing felt that it was too strange, because she heard that this was Han Chushua's mother, the Han family, and then this bastard Lin Xian and Ling Ying. Chapter 564. The corner of Morong Qing's mouth rose slightly. This was an earth-shattering event. A brat from a 3rd-tier city had made Ling Ying and Han Chushua, the 2 goddesses of Tiandu, have sex at the same time? No one would believe this, but she really felt that there was nothing wrong with it. The Han family came to prove that Lin Xian and Han Chushua were real. This afternoon, she even saw Han Chushua shopping with her mother outside, so this matter had been confirmed. Then, the 2 of them came here hand in hand and booked a room. There was no need to say anything more, right? This brat is really invincible. Morong Qing rubbed her delicate chin. Of course she was surprised. These 2 were the geniuses of Tiandu, who couldn't even get a meal with them. However, this Lin Xian. Now I have something to use against you. Morong Qing's mouth rose slightly. The next morning, Lin Xian ordered a big meal at the hotel to reward his little Ying. Get lost. Don't think that a meal can send me away. I'm still alive. Ling Ying glared at Lin Xian. Hee, I know. Today, this little one will accompany the beauty and play with you for a day. How about it? Ling Ying immediately showed a surprised expression. He wanted to agree, but suddenly thought of something and pretended to be indifferent. Forget it, you go accompany Chushua. Allah. Lin Xian walked over and scratched her nose. I'm at fault for this matter. I will solve it. Thank you for believing in me. TCH, I don't believe you. I'm just too lazy to flip out with you. Thank you. Then last night, Lin Xian showed an evil smile. Ling Ying. Her little face immediately turned red. Get lost. I want you to die of exhaustion. I want to kill you in disguise. That's right. Ling Ying stuttered as she spoke. Okay. Let's eat first. After that we will go to the amusement park. Lin Xian smiled. Humph. Ling Ying snorted and sat down to eat his breakfast quietly. Dong dong dong. At this moment someone knocked on the door. Lin Xian walked over to open the door. Hello, sir. These are the special cocktails that the hotel has prepared for you. Please enjoy. Lin Xian looked at Morongqing in front of him and gulped. F***ck. He had forgotten about this woman. No, to be precise. Lin Xian thought that it was impossible for her to meet him in such a big hotel in the middle of the night. However, Ling Ying didn't take another look. At the door, Morongqing gave Lin Xian an ambiguous look, and then Lin Xian silently held 2 cocktails. I wish the two of you happiness. After Morongqing finished speaking, she smiled and walked away. Lin Xian scratched his head. It was awkward. Now that she had something on him, why did she have to come? She wanted to tell Lin Xian that she had something on him. What was even more awkward was that Morongqing was also Lin Xian's target. If she knew that he had a girlfriend, it would be difficult to win her over in the future. Lin Xian handed the cocktail to Ling Ying. What's wrong? Ling Ying saw that Lin Xian's expression didn't seem too natural. Nothing. You eat first. I'll be back soon. Okay. Lin Xian then walked out. Mr. Lin, Chairman Mu is waiting for you upstairs. A beautiful girl said with a smile. Lin Xian nodded, and then went to the room where he and Morongqing were having dinner. You're here. Have a seat. Morongqing was applying lipstick in front of the mirror. She glanced at Lin Xian and said, My dear sister, what are you doing? How many times have I said it? Call me sister. Morongqing smiled and walked over. Then, she poured a glass of wine for Lin Xian. Lin Xian helplessly rolled his eyes. What's the matter? Morongqing smiled and sat in front of Lin Xian, looking at him. Nothing, I just want to get to know young Master Lin again. What's so special about a person who can win the hearts of 2 goddesses in Tiandu? In her opinion, Lin Xian must have something that she didn't know. He must have something that attracted girls. After all, those girls were Ling Ying and Han Chuxue. One was fine, but 2. This Lin Xian was really heaven-defying. She knew that no matter how hard the people in Tiandu tried, these 2 girls wouldn't even look at them. But Lin Xian got both of them. What a set! Ahem, sister, don't talk nonsense. I just came out with Ling Ying to play fight the landlord. Pfft. Morongqing couldn't help but laugh. Don't explain. The more you explain, the harder it will be to clear your name. All right. Lin Xian shrugged. I heard that Han Chushua's mother is here. I'm curious. Do they know each other? Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. Yes. Oh, is that so? Then when should I ask them out to play? Hey, you're not familiar with them. What do you want to do? Lin Xian panicked. Who says we're not familiar? Can't we talk about cooperation? All right, what do you want? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Nothing much, just a chat. Don't worry. I'm not so bad as to poke your tires. But you're really awesome. I'm impressed. Ahem, I'll leave first. Lin Xian hurriedly walked away. This is really interesting. What is so special about this Lin Xian that girls like? Even these 2 have fallen for him. It's really amazing. For the whole day, Lin Xian accompanied Ling Ying to play outside. Han Chuxue didn't look for Lin Xian. Although she wanted to, Zhao Yaji hadn't left yet, so she played with her mother for the whole day. In the afternoon, Zhao Yaji didn't want to disturb her daughter anymore, so she left after giving some instructions. Lin Xian was also very happy, because the knot in Ling Ying's heart had been untied. She had also thought it through very clearly. She had sacrificed too much, but Lin Xian, this bastard, still wanted to do something. He felt very inhumane, but he had to do it. Chuxue called. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian holding the phone and asked. Lin Xian nodded. Pick it up. Lin Xian coughed dryly, then picked up the phone and walked to the side to chat for a while. Ling Ying finally calmed down and didn't have any special emotions. It could be said that Lin Xian had done a good job today. It was mainly because Ling Ying was tolerant of him. Ahem. Let's go to Chushue's for barbecue tonight. I just told her. Are you sure you want me to go? I'm not going to be a third wheel, right? Ling Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. How is that possible? Forget it, I'm not going. You can go to her. Lin Xian. Stop fooling around, let's go eat barbecue. You don't mind? F***CK. Why would I mind? Let's go. Okay. Then Lin Xian revealed an evil smile. Tonight, he was going to do something bad. Chapter 565. Now that Ling Ying's mood had stabilized, Han Chuxue, with her personality, would be especially tolerant of Lin Xian in the future, even more tolerant than Ling Ying in some aspects. This was also the reason why Lin Xian was unscrupulous. Tonight Lin Xian was going to do a mission. In Han Chuxue's house, she had already prepared the ingredients and the barbecue grill. The sky was getting dark. Lin Xian and Ling Ying came to her house together, and Han Chuxue stood up subconsciously. Auntie left quite early, Lin Xian said with a smile. She's also quite busy in Tiandu, Han Chuxue said faintly. Ling Ying touched his flat stomach and said weakly, I'm starving, I've been playing all day. Then let's go eat barbecue, Han Chuxue said faintly. Then the three of them went to the backyard and barbecued there with the help of the moonlight, starlight, and light. Where's the wine? Lin Xian glanced and asked. Still want a drink? Han Chuxue looked at Lin Xian. Of course, why not? Nothing will happen, what's wrong? Han Chuxue shook her head slightly. Nothing, I'll go get it. Take more, Lin Xian said. After Han Chuxue left, Ling Ying glared at Lin Xian. Tell me, are you plotting something? Lin Xian grinned. Little Ying, don't you trust my character? I didn't do anything the last 2 times. Who said that? Also, who knows if you did anything or not? Anyway, I don't know anything after drinking Zue. Ling Ying muttered. Why do I always have a bad premonition? No, absolutely not. Lin Xian quickly shook his head. Humph. At this time, Han Chuxue came over with a bottle of wine. They usually had alcohol at home, but they might not even drink it once in a few months. Ever since they started eating at Han Chuxue's house, the frequency of drinking had become much higher. Oh right. Han Chuxue suddenly thought of something, then took out a martial skill book from her interspatial ring and handed it to Lin Xian. This is? Han Chuxue said. This is a martial art book my mother left for you before she left. It's a thunder martial art. Damn, that's great. Lin Xian took it. Earth Stage 10 star martial skill. It was even more ferocious than his Earth Stage 8 stars 5 lightning celestial phenomenon. Thunderclap transformation. Lin Xian's eyes lit up when he saw this martial skill. Just by looking at the name, he knew it was quite powerful. Try to learn it first. Lin Xian nodded and closed his eyes. Ding. Thunderclap transformation has been learned 1%. 2%. Chuxue, if Lin Xian is a womanizer, what will you do? Ling Ying asked with a smile. Han Chuxue froze for a moment then whispered. It's just an act. It has nothing to do with me. She still didn't know that Ling Ying knew everything, and was still hiding it from Ling Ying. But Ling Ying didn't blame her. He also knew why Han Chuxue was hiding it. Okay, Lin Xian told me, the two of you aren't just acting. Han Chuxue revealed a surprised expression. He told you? Ling Ying nodded. Then Han Chuxue lowered her head. She also didn't know about Lin Xian and Ling Ying. I don't know. Then she shook her head. Then will you indulge him? Ling Ying asked. Han Chuxue hesitated for a moment then nodded. I should. It's just as I thought. Although you look hard to get along with, once you have feelings, you're more soft-hearted than anyone else. Yes, this was Han Chuxue. And also the reason why Lin Xian was willing to try it tonight. Because she was too soft-hearted. She could be fierce, she could be steady, accurate, and ruthless when killing demonic beasts. But once she had feelings, she was more forgiving and indulgent than any girl. Even the seemingly weak Wang Xintong. Lin Xian was lucky. Lin Xian is a womanizer, so you have to watch him. Ling Ying reminded. Han Chuxue shook her head. No need, if he has feelings, it'll be useless no matter how I watch him. It'll be counterproductive. If he doesn't, even if I don't watch him, he won't. Having you is truly a blessing, Ling Ying said with a smile. Han Chuxue glanced at Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes, and a trace of lightning flashed through Lin Xian's eyes. Did it work? Han Shushua hurriedly asked. Lin Xian nodded. An Earth Stage 10-star martial skill. It's really not a bluff. I didn't even dare to release it to see the effect. Thunderclap transformation should be a super large range thunderclap attack martial skill, right? Han Shushua asked. Lin Xian nodded. That's right, super large range. With my current strength, this entire villa will be gone. Lin Xian was also quite excited. He didn't expect that Han Chushua's mother would come and leave him an Earth Stage 10-star martial skill. He had profited. This slap wasn't in vain. It's done. Ling Ying handed Lin Xian a chicken wing. Let's drink, let's drink. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. Then he picked up the red wine bottle and directly drank from it. When the two girls saw that Lin Xian drank, they also drank some. Then 2 hours later, the two girls were once again drunk by Lin Xian. One was lying on the table next to them, and the other was lying on the lawn. Lin Xian released his spiritual power to disperse the drunkenness and looked at them. Do you want it? Want it? He had just buried the hatchet with Ling Ying. What if? He was afraid that Ling Ying would be angry again. After all, this wasn't a simple thing. As for Han Chushue, Lin Xian felt that she wasn't as difficult to deal with as Ling Ying. The two girls were especially easy to tolerate. But don't want it? First, when the time comes, they would all drink. Ling Ying and Han Chushue wouldn't blame him too much, right? Second, sooner or later they would know each other. Third, Lin Xian wanted to complete this mission as soon as possible. Completing it now was actually much faster than Lin Xian expected. Then, he would be able to get the formulas of the 3 major potions and start his own force development plan. Conflicted. Incomparably conflicted. Before this, Lin Xian had already thought about it. No matter what, he had to do it. But now he didn't dare to do it. He fell into an incomparably conflicted situation again. Perhaps this was a very normal phenomenon. Anyone would be conflicted. Conflicted about the price. What would happen tomorrow morning. Conflicted about how to explain things, and so on. Perhaps he wasn't a real man yet, which was why he was so conflicted. After thinking about it, Lin Xian still decided to make a move. F***ck. I don't want to think about it anymore. Anyway, little Ying's side has been stabilized for now. If I miss this opportunity, who knows when I'll be able to complete the mission. At most, I'll take a few slaps from each of them tomorrow morning. That's it. Bang! Lin Xian kicked the door shut. Wahahaha. Chapter 566. Ding! Congratulations on completing the mission. Seducing Ling Ying and Han Chushue. Ding! Your Prince Charming points plus 20,000. Ding! You can choose to raise Ling Ying and Han Chushue's cultivation by 2 stars. Ding! Congratulations on leveling up to Advanced Adonis. Adonis points plus 10,000. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining Physique Changing Liquid Formula, Spirit Cultivating Liquid Formula, Attribute Increasing Potion Formula. You want to see the details? Dream on. Early in the morning the next day, Lin Xian opened his eyes and crawled out of bed. He glanced at his surroundings. God knows what terrifying things would happen when he woke up. Will there be a thunderous explosion and overturn the seas? Run. That's right. Let's run first and act according to the situation later. Then, Lin Xian quickly slipped out and went to the kitchen to make breakfast. He didn't know when they would wake up, but it shouldn't be too early. So Lin Xian symbolically made some exquisite and complicated breakfast that took up a lot of time. It didn't take much time at all. Maybe it was because he was panicking. Who the hell wouldn't panic after doing something like this? He fried steak, grilled sausages, and Lin Xian's favorite poached eggs. He just sat there thinking and made poached eggs. Without paying attention, he made more than 20 eggs. Then, Lin Xian sat at the dining table and silently ate the poached eggs while thinking about 10,000 possibilities. Ling Ying opened her eyes, and the first thing she saw was Han Chushue looking at her with wide eyes. Morning. Ling Ying stretched and said to Han Chushue. Then she realized something was wrong. Ah! Even Lin Xian, who was downstairs, heard the scream. His heart skipped a beat. Should he run? Or stay here? Forget it. He would have to face it sooner or later. Inside the room, Han Shushue and Lingying finished putting on their clothes and sat there without saying a word. They weren't stupid. At first they were confused, but later, they were told what they did last night. Ding! Lin Xian's mind was filled with all sorts of system notifications. His Adonis points had also broken through 100 million last night. Bastard! 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 I knew he did it on purpose. That bastard had planned this all along. Lingying gritted her teeth as she silently cursed Lin Xian. As for Han Shushue, she was relatively calm, but that was probably just on the surface. Last night, his boyfriend, most importantly, she purposely paid attention to the sheets. There was no red. In other words, Lingying. That. Shushue. Lingying broke the awkward stalemate. Yes. Han Shushue nodded slightly, not knowing what to say. There was a sense of relief in his heart. That's right, other than feeling wronged, sad and angry, there was also relief. Was it because she had thought about this ever since she decided to be in a relationship with Lin Xian? Was it because her sensitive heart had already discovered that the relationship between Lin Xian and Lingying was unusual? Was it because even though she knew and guessed this, she still chose to be with Lin Xian without hesitation? Perhaps she had already guessed that Lingying had been deliberately helping her and Lin Xian? Perhaps Lingying was the one who should be the most wronged? Perhaps she had already thought about this day. Anyway, when this day came, she didn't find it particularly hard to accept. It could only be said that Lin Xian was lucky to meet two girls who were willing to be wronged and didn't want to be separated from him. Perhaps it was also because of everything that happened between Lin Xian and them. I'm sorry. Lingying's back was facing Han Shushue, and his hands were rubbing his clothes, not knowing what to do. No. Han Shushue shook her head slightly. Her back was also facing Lingying, and the two of them were on one side of the bed. Actually, did you and Lin Xian long ago? Han Shushue bit her lip and asked softly. No, how could it be a haha? Lingying laughed awkwardly. But why did you say sorry to me? Lingying. Okay, that's true, but it was an accident. I went out to train in the beginner class. Lingying was interrupted by Han Shushue before he could finish. So even if that's the case, you knew that Lin Xian was the one who saved me, and you still tried to set me up with him. Lingying scratched his head. I also didn't think this day would come. Thank you. Han Shushue's voice floated over. Ah. Lingying turned his head. Han Shushue also turned her head to look at him and laughed softly. Thank you. Hey, don't be like this. You're making me feel weird. Are you okay? Lingying leaned over and touched Han Shusue's forehead. Han Shushue shook her head slightly. I'm fine. I just didn't think you'd be so good to me. Pfft. Lingying couldn't help but laugh. Han Shushue looked at him and also couldn't help but laugh. I say, Shushue, you're my only true best friend. If I don't treat you well, who will? So you have to treat me well too. Han Shushue nodded slightly. For a moment, the scene became strangely quiet again. Then, what should we do in the future? Han Shushue looked at Lingying. Lingying said with a smile, let's just pretend that nothing happened last night. If you don't mind, I don't care anyway. I'm just Lingying. Ha, you can be with Lin Xian. I'll try my best to find my true love. But don't you like Lin Xian? The two beautiful girls looked at each other's eyes. Perhaps only the most sincere and best friends would look at each other's sincere eyes at a time like this. The eyes were the window to the soul. This was true. There were too many things in their eyes now, but they didn't avoid each other's eyes. They even apologized to each other, but they didn't have any thoughts of harming each other. They were naturally very familiar with each other. Perhaps they could learn something from the exchange of eyes. Han Shushue tidied her hair and said, how about we let him get away with it? Lingying's beautiful eyes widened. In fact, she had already thought about it in her heart. She had also communicated with Lin Xian several times. She had also made several preparations, but she didn't expect Han Shushue to. Han Shushue chuckled. I believe that one day, he will reach a height where he won't be afraid of the Han and Ling families. And we will be willing to follow him. Maybe my vision is bad, but our vision won't be bad, right? Yes. Lingying laughed out loud. It could be said that all the worries in her heart had been released at this time. Han Shushua smiled faintly. Go take a bath. Let's go together. Right, we can't let him get away with it. After the bath, shall we beat him up to vent our anger? Han Shushua nodded without hesitation. Yes. Chapter 567. Lin Xian had been waiting downstairs for a long time. It had been close to an hour since the scream. The two girls couldn't have fought, right? No, definitely not. And he didn't hear any commotion. Lin Xian nervously finished the 20 or so poached eggs. He was full anyway, but the steak was a little cold. But it didn't matter. Lin Xian went back to the pot and fried it a few more times. Besides, they didn't like to eat rare food. They rarely ate medium well. They usually ate medium well, so they treated it as medium well or medium well. What's going on? They haven't come downstairs for so long. Are they chatting? Lin Xian was anxious. No, I can't take it anymore. He knew that they had been awake for an hour, but they still didn't come down. Lin Xian couldn't take it anymore. Then he sneaked upstairs and stuck close to the door. There was no movement. There was no movement at all. Logically speaking, there should be some sound of breathing. Should he go in and take a look? Could it be that they had gone back to sleep? Impossible. Who the F***ck could go back to sleep after such a thing happened? Click. Lin Xian couldn't take it anymore. He slowly opened the door a crack and peeked inside. Wow. Where are they? There was no one on the bed. Strange. The two of them couldn't have broken the window and gone out to fight, right? Lin Xian quickly opened the door. Plop. Just as he was about to open the door completely, a bucket fell from above his head and caught him. At the same time, his entire body was drenched. Whoosh! Outside, Ling Ying, who had been hiding in a corner, suddenly teleported behind Lin Xian. Then he gave him a gentle kick. At the same time, Han Shushua released her ice attribute. The ground instantly froze. Then Lin Xian slid forward and hit the wall. He was stunned. Whoosh! Then, Ling Ying rushed in and threw Lin Xian onto the bed and covered him with a blanket. Hit him. Then, the two girls greeted Lin Xian with their little fists. After a few minutes they stopped. They were so tired that they were panting. Actually, Lin Xian had realized it from the very beginning. He had noticed it the moment the bucket fell. But he had purposely fallen for it. He knew that the two girls would definitely not do anything too cruel to him. Although he had been violently beaten up, Lin Xian was still happy. Because Lin Xian knew that when they did that, it meant that they were done talking to him. And there was a high chance that they ended him. It was worth it to be beaten up by them. Moreover, they had been wronged, so it was only right for them to vent their frustrations. Lin Xian also knew that he was in the wrong. I'm so tired. So hard. Ling Ying shook her hand. Han Shushua nodded. Where are you guys? Lin Xian suddenly popped out and asked with a smile. Die. Hooligan. Ling Ying rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. Hee, my two wives, I've already prepared a sumptuous breakfast for you. Would you please come downstairs and have a taste? You're shameless. Two wives? Who agreed to it? Ling Ying glared at Lin Xian. Yes. Then, with the two beautiful ladies, who are so beautiful that they can cause the downfall of a city and overturn the moon, and put the flowers to shame. Do me the honor of coming downstairs for breakfast? Lin Xian grinned. Then who do you think is more alluring and beautiful? Ling Ying asked. Humph. Let's go. Then, Ling Ying grabbed Han Chushua's arm, and the two girls walked downstairs. I don't know if the future will be good or bad, but it'll definitely be interesting. Lin Xian couldn't help but chuckle. When Lin Xian arrived downstairs, the two girls were sitting together, eating steak, grilled sausages, and drinking milk. They were all smiles, and their beautiful eyes were squinted into crescents. They were especially beautiful. Little Xian, is there any staple food? Ling Ying looked up at Lin Xian. At the same time, Han Chushua's beautiful eyes also looked at Lin Xian, who was walking over, and her small face blushed slightly. What staple food would my two wives like to have? Lin Xian immediately smiled apologetically. Make 2 bowls of seafood noodles. You have to bring out your best. Roger that. 10 minutes. My two wives, please have some steak first. It'll be ready soon. Then Lin Xian ran into the kitchen. The two girls looked at each other, and then tried to stifle their laughter. Did you see that? This is a sign of a man's guilty conscience. Thinking back to the past, he was such a bad man. He did whatever he was told to do. Ling Ying whispered with a smile. Let's go help him. Han Shushua said softly. No need. Right now, he can't wait for us to order him to do more things. That way he can feel redeemed. That's true. Han Shushua laughed softly. That's right. Right now Lin Xian was feeling guilty. He was afraid that he would make the two ladies unhappy. This was already an indescribably satisfying scene for Lin Xian. He had imagined many scenarios. He even imagined the two girls fuming with anger, or wiping their tears on the side. But now, this was simply too perfect. He didn't even have to do any psychological counseling. 10 minutes later, Lin Xian carried 2 bowls of hot, fragrant seafood noodles, and placed all the necessary utensils in front of the two of them. It was already late autumn. The coldest time of the day wasn't late at night, but the instant before dawn. At this time, the temperature would slightly warm up, but it was still relatively cold. Eating a bowl of delicious and warm seafood noodles early in the morning was simply too wonderful. In any case, Ling Ying and Han Shushua were extremely satisfied. This steak was nothing compared to the seafood noodles. In fact, Lin Xian had originally wanted to make seafood noodles, but who knew when they would come downstairs? And the noodles would be lumpy if left for too long, so he decided to make steak instead. Ladies, how is the taste? Lin Xian sat in front of them with a flattering smile. Han Shushua and Ling Ying elegantly took a bite. It was still a familiar taste. And not bad. If only I could eat a bowl of hot seafood noodles like this every morning when I wake up. Ling Ying sighed and said, Yes, yes. This is not a problem. As long as you two give the order, you can eat whatever you want in the morning. Lin Xian hurriedly said. The two girls held back their laughter. Looking at his guilty look, it was really cute. And remember what you said. Of course, Lin Xian said without hesitation. By the way, have you eaten? Ling Ying asked. Lin Xian nodded and said, I have. If you've eaten, then what are you doing? Why aren't you rubbing Chushua's shoulders? Coming. Although Lin Xian was being ordered around, he was extremely happy. Ling Ying was too familiar with Lin Xian. She knew that Lin Xian would be happy in such a situation. On the contrary, if they said that he didn't need to do anything, that it wasn't his fault, and that he should eat, it would make Lin Xian feel uncomfortable. Chapter 568. Of course, Han Chushua's understanding of Lin Xian was not as good as Ling Ying's. Perhaps not even 1/3 of Ling Ying's, but this was normal. After all, they had spent a lot of time together. But Han Chushua understood Ling Ying. She knew Ling Ying's thoughts, so she also knew Lin Xian. Lin Xian was very busy. Little Chushua, is my strength okay? Lin Xian smiled. Han Chushua was not used to it. She was still very traditional, much more traditional than Ling Ying. In her understanding, girls were supposed to massage boys' shoulders and legs. In other words, girls were supposed to serve boys. So she was not used to being massaged by Lin Xian. It's okay. It means it's not okay. Ling Ying said. Damn. I'm not okay. Say it again, I'm not okay? Lin Xian was not happy. Ling Ying. Han Chushua. F***ck off. Damn pervert. Ling Ying rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. Han Chushua coughed and said embarrassedly, That's good. You mean I'm okay? Lin Xian smiled. Han Chushua's face turned red. Hey, who allowed you to tease her? Massage her properly. Ling Ying said unhappily. Yes, sir. Lin Xian saluted and obediently massaged her shoulders. Little Ying, do you want to massage her? Massage her until she's comfortable. No, until she's comfortable, Ling Ying said. Little Chushua, is it comfortable? Han Chushua nodded slightly. Okay, you help Ling Ying. Then Lin Xian came behind Ling Ying. Is it comfortable? Ling Ying nodded. It's okay, use more strength. All right. Sit down and rest. When Ling Ying saw that Lin Xian had been busy the whole morning, he couldn't bear it. Their only weakness was that they were soft-hearted. However, It was precisely because of their soft-heartedness that Lin Xian was still alive. No, I have to make you comfortable. I'm comfortable now. Sit down and rest, we can talk. All right. Lin Xian nodded and sat across from the two girls. Ling Ying raised his head. Han Chuxue wouldn't ask for too much, and even if she did, she wouldn't bring it up. Although she had a cold personality, once she accepted, she would do everything according to Lin Xian. However, although Ling Ying tolerated Lin Xian, her personality was also the same. She could swallow her anger, but someone had to say it. Say what? Lin Xian looked like an obedient boy, very obedient. We have to agree on 3 rules. Don't mention 3, even 30 rules will do. Alright, stop bragging. Ling Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Hee. Lin Xian scratched his head. I've already discussed the 3 rules with Chuxue, and we don't think there's a problem. See if you're willing. I'm willing. I haven't even said anything yet. Then I'm willing too. Lin Xian smiled. Bootlicker. Lin Xian. Ling Ying then slightly twirled her hair and said, First it's about you and me. Don't tell anyone about you and Chuxue. This is a request. No problem. Lin Xian said decisively. Second, there won't be a second time. Don't even think about it. Second time what? Of course, Lin Xian was well aware of this, but he deliberately said it to tease them. Han Chuxue lowered her head. This cold and arrogant girl. In front of the person she liked, all her arrogance turned into a weak, obedient, gentle and shy personality. This was what made Han Chuxue so lovable. Just like Linya, she was cold and arrogant outside but gentle at home. What do you think? Ling Ying glared at Lin Xian. Cough. Lin Xian immediately coughed dryly. I know. Third, you have to quickly strengthen yourself. Either let your strength stand at the peak of the continent, or have your own force reach the peak. I understand. Lin Xian nodded. The so-called 3-point agreement was actually not a 3-point agreement at all. Only the second point counted. The rest meant nothing to Lin Xian at all. Or rather, it was something he should have done in the first place. As for the second point, if he agreed now, who knows what would happen in the future, hee. Alright, that's all for now. I'm going shopping with Chuxue. Do you have something to do? If you have something to do, then do it. Chuxue and I will wash the dishes. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and said, No hurry. Nothing is as important as accompanying your highnesses out shopping. Your highnesses only need to shop, eat, drink, and have fun. Leave the carrying of things and paying to me. I'll do it. Lin Xian smiled. Chuxue, remember this in the future. If a man is willing to take the initiative to go shopping with you for no reason, that's a sign of guilt. He must be doing something outside. Ling Ying reminded Han Chuxue. Okay. Han Chuxue nodded slightly. Lin Xian. He was wrong, okay? I'm going to change. Me too. Then Ling Ying and Han Chuxue ran upstairs. Chuxue, my realm inexplicably increased by 2 stars last night. What about you? Ling Ying asked curiously. Han Chuxue nodded. Me too. I'm now a 3-star Thunder Tribulation Realm cultivator. Ling Ying. What's going on? Ling Ying grabbed his hair. Han Chuxue also shook her head in confusion. Ling Ying said, Anyway, I'm sure it has something to do with Lin Xian. Then she suddenly thought of something. Lin Xian told me, before that doing it with him is called having sex. Do you think that's true? Ling Ying asked. Han Chuxue. That's in TV dramas or novels, right? But how do you explain it? It seems like your realm inexplicably increased because of that. Didn't you? Han Chuxue thought for a moment and said, Not all of it. You reminded me. It's indeed not all of it. Ling Ying thought for a moment. Anyway, it's very mysterious. Yes, super mysterious. I always feel that this Lin Xian has a super big secret. Maybe that's why we're attracted to him. Hee. Go change your clothes. Phew. Lin Xian let out a long breath and then sat on the sofa. Perfect ending. Super perfect. To be able to get such a sensible, virtuous, and tolerant girl was really his good fortune. What the F***ck did I do to deserve this? Lin Xian felt that it was unreasonable. Lin Xian was a piece of sh*t. What right did he have to get the favor of Han Chuxue and Ling Ying? It was fine if he got it, but they were even willing to tolerate him to this extent. He had to admit that even he felt that it was unreasonable. So, he had to strengthen himself. Then Lin Xian looked at the potion formula. Chapter 569. Body Enhancing Liquid Formula. 1 person. 10g Earth Spirit Flower, 10g Jade Marrow Liquid, 15g Purple Caltrip Grass. Mental Cultivation Liquid. 1 person. 8g Clear Grass, 10g Blue Mint Leaf, 10g Jade Marrow Liquid. Attribute Enhancing Liquid. 1 person. 1 3-star Rainbow Berry, 1 9-color Spirit Lotus Petal, 100g Jade Marrow Liquid. Note: fuse the formula, refine it, turn it into spirit energy and seal it. Inject it with spirit energy to achieve the effect. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. The body enhancing liquid and mental cultivation liquid could be taken orally. There was nothing wrong with this. Earth Spirit Flower, Purple Caltrip Grass, Clear Grass, and Blue Mint Leaf were all common spirit herbs. They were easy to obtain and could be bought casually. However, no one knew that these things would have such an amazing effect when combined. It was equivalent to the formula. This was the most precious thing. Moreover, the grams had to be controlled perfectly. If there was 1 gram less or 1 gram more, the effect would completely disappear. This was also difficult, but knowing the grams was very simple. As for the ingredients needed for the gene-enhancing liquid, Lin Xian had the memories of the Imperial Physician Saint technique. So he knew that 3-star Rainbow Berry was a rare spirit herb. 9-color Spirit Lotus was an even more precious spirit herb. Therefore, this attribute-enhancing liquid could not be mass-produced. But it could be done with other things. The key to the attribute-enhancing liquid should be the 9-color Spirit Lotus. The 9-color Spirit Lotus had 9 colors. Could it correspond to 9 different attributes? Lin Xian did not know. Space and time. It should be hard to increase them, right? Could it be increased just by relying on the 9-color Spirit Lotus? Lin Xian did not know either. He would only know when he did it. Moreover, the attribute-enhancing liquid had a note. The meaning was very simple. That was to use a special method to refine the formula into spirit energy, and then inject the spirit energy to achieve the effect. Jade Marrow Liquid. What is Jade Marrow Liquid? Lin Xian suddenly noticed something. Jade Marrow Liquid was not recorded in the Imperial Physician Saint technique. System, what is Jade Marrow Liquid? Ding. Replying to the host, Jade Marrow Liquid is only provided by the Adonis system. It is a viscous liquid refined from a special crystal. Jade Marrow Liquid does not exist on planet Aqua Blue. Lin Xian frowned. In other words, can you give me the chalcedony liquid if I want it? Ding. The second store has added Jade Marrow Liquid for exchange. For more details, please see the Prince Charming System second store. Then Lin Xian hurriedly took a look. Jade Marrow Liquid. A liquid refined from a special crystal. It has special effects and spiritual power. Price 0, 1 Andromeda per gram. Lin Xian. Invincible. When Lin Xian saw the chalcedony liquid, he was most worried about the price. When Lin Xian saw that it only cost 0, 1 Andromeda points per gram, he heaved a sigh of relief. 10 grams of physique-modifying elixir per person meant that Lin Xian could produce 10,000 bottles of physique-modifying elixir with 10,000 Andromeda points. But it seemed that if he wanted to mass-produce it, his Adonis points were not enough. 100 million Adonis points were really not enough. If it could be mass-produced, even 10 billion wouldn't be enough. System, can you dilute it? Lin Xian asked. Ding. Replying to the host, it can be diluted. You just need to reduce it according to the same ratio. But the effect will be reduced by the same ratio. Lin Xian's lips curled. It can be diluted. That's great. The increase itself was not much. But who wouldn't want an opportunity to increase their attributes for free? Moreover, without the chalcedony liquid, he couldn't produce any of the 3 elixirs. The chalcedony liquid was not available in Aqua Blue, so Lin Xian could truly monopolize it. As for the attribute-modifying elixir, Lin Xian could not produce it for now, but he would do so in the future. These things seemed powerful, but to Lin Xian, only the attribute-modifying elixir was valuable. but it could also be diluted. In short, the best elixir would definitely be his, and he would definitely not sell it. But after diluting it, for example, it could only increase his attributes by 5%. 5%. That would still be highly sought after. From now on, Lin Xian would start his grand plan. Following that, Lin Xian exchanged 100 grams of chalcedony liquid, and the chalcedony liquid also gave him a small jade bottle for free. This chalcedony liquid was not as valuable as this small jade bottle, right? It's sticky and transparent like glue. Lin Xian opened it and asked, but it was tasteless. At this time, Ling Ying and Han Chushua had changed their clothes and walked down. What are you holding in your hand? Ling Ying looked curiously at the jade bottle in Lin Xian's hand. Oh, it's a sticky liquid. Sticky liquid? The two girls looked at each other. Stinky hooligan. Pay. Lin Xian. I say, big sister. What are you thinking? This is my treasure to get rich. Forget it, forget it. You won't understand even if I tell you. Let's go shopping. Let's go. Ling Ying did not care about this. He was more concerned about going shopping. Lin Xian spent the whole day with them. It could be considered as a way to lessen the guilt in his heart. At night, Ling Ying did not go home. Lin Xian went home, and Linya was alone at home watching a TV series. Little fairy. Lin Xian ran over and kissed Linya, causing her to blush. Have you eaten? Do you want me to make dinner for you? Linya asked gently. No need, Ling Ying and I already ate outside. It's just that I didn't spend much time with you these past few days, so I feel a little bad. Linya's heart was filled with gratitude. No need, isn't it always like this? Oh right, little fairy. I'm going to start my own business. Ah, Linya was stunned. Hee, you might be very busy in the future, before you get on the right track. Linya looked at Lin Xian and asked seriously. Why do you want to start your own business? You don't spend much money normally, you don't need it. Lin Xian shook his head. No, I'm not just starting my own business for money. I want the entire continent to acknowledge me. Money was a necessary part of establishing power, but there was another part, and that was fame. When the entire continent knew about you, when you wanted to do something, such as establishing your own power, they would acknowledge you and know about you. The number of people would be incomparable. There was hope for Lin Xian to make his name known throughout the continent in the shortest time possible. When his name was known throughout the continent, he would use some methods to establish his own power, and the starting point would be too high. He might not be able to reach that level in a short time, but it was the most promising. During the startup stage, Lin Xian wanted to let his most trusted Lin Ye take on a very important role. Firstly, this was what Linya was good at. Secondly, Lin Xian trusted her. And thirdly, Lin Xian could see that although it was necessary for Linya to improve her strength, she preferred to start her own business. Chapter 570. Why did Linya want to increase her strength? There were two reasons. Firstly, she wanted to live longer, so that she could accompany Lin Xian longer. Secondly, she didn't want to be a burden to Lin Xian. However, the latter was the main reason why she worked so hard. Now Lin Xian had a goal and wanted to do something. Lin Xian had asked Linya to do it for him. Linya couldn't be happier, because she was worried that she would be a burden to Lin Xian, and be unable to help Lin Xian. The more Lin Xian needed her, the happier and more satisfied she was. Cultivation. That seemed to be secondary. Moreover, she really didn't like fighting and killing. In any case, Lin Xian understood Linya's heart and thoughts. Moreover, her realm. Firstly, it could help her increase her strength. Secondly, when he was stronger, he could focus on bringing Linya to cultivate. He could let her learn from Xiao Runing and the others in her free time. For Linya, the arcane body realm was enough for her. Moreover, she still had a heavenly spatial jewel that she hadn't used yet. If she really encountered danger that she couldn't handle, this heavenly spatial jewel could at least save her life. Thinking of the heavenly spatial jewel, Lin Xian thought of his Xiao Linglong. He didn't know how she and Xiao Linglong were doing right now. He had to come early, he still had a mission. Recognized by the entire continent, Linya didn't quite understand what Lin Xian meant. Don't worry, I'm doing proper business. I just need to find someone I can completely trust. Little fairy, you're also a business genius. With you around, I definitely won't have to worry. Linya nodded. I have no problem with that. But what's the direction of your business? You have to consider the initial investment, scale, location, etc. Is it in Tianhua City? Tianhua City is very unstable right now. This was something that Lin Xian needed to think deeply about. However, he only needed to think about one thing. Location? Tianhua City? No, it can't be Tianhua City. Although this is their home. But Tianhua City is now in turmoil. Coupled with Xue Qilan's advice, Lin Xian doesn't dare to stake everything on Tianhua City. Who knows when it will be gone? The entire city was gone. If it was in Tianhua City, Lin Xian wouldn't even need to buy too many things. He could just directly change Linya's company's facilities to the production of gene medicine. It would be more convenient, but he couldn't do it now. No to Linen City. Linen City was the city behind Tianhua City. In other words, if Tianhua City was attacked, most of Tianhua City's citizens would move to Linen City. Linen City would be fine for at least 1 or 2 years. Linya revealed a worried expression. Lin Xian said, Tianhua City is in turmoil. Even with so many defenders, but I think it's still dangerous. Perhaps it won't be long before we have to leave Tianhua City. Although he doesn't want to leave, and they have lived here for more than 20 years, Linya's company is here. But what Lin Xian doesn't have much confidence in is Xue Qilan. Xue Qilan's words about Tianhua City's disaster made him very worried. That's Xue Qilan. She said that Tianhua City's disaster is not a simple siege, right? The momentum must be great. Although he doesn't want to shrink back. But Lin Xian now has a new idea. He will try his best to defend this place. But to be on the safe side, he still has to develop his grand plan in Linen City. Lin Xian said, Don't worry, we won't go for the time being. And if you go, I'll go. Even if I develop in Linen City, I still have to stay in Tianhua City with you for the time being. You don't have to go for the time being. But if we start to develop officially and start business, we'll need you. Linya nodded. Her worried expression comes from the worry that she will go to Linen City, while Lin Xian and them will stay here. She is reluctant to part with them. Rather than Lin Xian likes to stick to Linya, it would be better to say that Linya likes to stick to Lin Xian more. What do you want to do? Lin Xian showed a mysterious smile. It's a secret. Linya gave Lin Xian a blank look. I may have to go to Linen City in the next 2 days to look for a factory site and build a company building. A company building? 1 or 2 floors aren't enough. There's no need for it in the early stages. Lin Xian smiled and said, It will be used eventually. When the time comes, the development will be fast. It's better than not being able to make it in time. Linya was slightly taken aback. Why is Lin Xian so confident? Starting a business is the most difficult. Why is he so confident that the development will be fast? But the factory won't cost too much. A few million will be enough to buy an old factory. If you need it a lot, you can buy a few more. I still have 40 million of your money. Together with my company's money, the factory, the equipment, and so on should be more than enough. But the company building, it will definitely be in a busy area. My company is rented on the 20th floor, and it costs 10 million a year. If you want to build a company building, the annual rent will be more than 20 million. Moreover, there might not be any rentals. Linya didn't think that Lin Xian is a fool. He must have considered a lot, but she can't do it. No, I don't want to rent. I want to buy. Linya, buy? A building in a busy area will cost a few 100 million. The more expensive land will cost at least 1 billion. Linya said in shock. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. He was confident that this business of his would definitely rise to the top. Regardless of the power, the business will definitely be fine. He was only worried about whether he had enough Adonis points to exchange for the calcedony liquid. Don't worry, leave this to me. I'll make a trip to Linen City in 2 days. Little fairy, take care of yourself and spend more time with Miss Xiao. Linya didn't know what Lin Xian wanted to do, but she chose to silently support Lin Xian. I still have something to do. I'll go out first. Whether I come back tonight is another matter. Little fairy, rest early. Linya nodded, and Lin Xian left in a hurry. Lin Ye didn't know what Lin Xian wanted to do, but she felt that he was very confident. But in business, no one would be 100% sure that they would succeed. Even if you had a heaven-defying family background, even if you were one of the 8 great families, you had to be prepared to lose money when doing business. At this moment, Lin Xian arrived at Rose Heaven. He was short of money. That's right, he was short of money. But he had people and money. I say, why did you wake me up in the middle of the night? What's the matter? Morong Qing yawned and sat on the bed, looking extremely seductive. Cough cough. Lin Xian walked over and sat on the chair. He looked at Morong Qing and said, "Boss, lend me some money." Morong Qing. Stop fooling around. Young Master Lin, you're short of money? Both of your girlfriends are daughters of the 2 great families in Tiandu. Although your sister's company isn't big, the annual profit is at least tens of millions. Do you still need to borrow money from me? Morong Qing said with a smile. Don't talk nonsense. 2 girlfriends. Ha ha ha. Morong Qing smiled and sat down in front of Lin Xian with a glass of red wine. She crossed her legs and took a sip, staring at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Chapter 571. I won't talk about this kind of thing, but this can be considered a small weakness of yours. Lin Xian scratched his head. Let's talk business. Lend me some money. Lin Xian didn't have anything to sell. Attribute increasing medicine? It was indeed valuable, but Lin Xian didn't want to sell it before that. Although others couldn't find the formula, and even if they did, they wouldn't be able to find the chalcedony liquid. Okay, how much? 1 billion or so. Morong Qing. Brother, do you think money isn't money? 1 billion or so. What do you want to do? Morong Qing was interested. 1 billion or so was nothing to her. Rose Heaven was a chain of 5 empires. Her net worth was already unknown. Moreover, Lin Xian didn't believe that she was just running Rose Heaven. In short, she was a real rich woman. Because Lin Xian said 1 billion or so, she was very calm. Don't ask. Are you going to lend it or not? I won't lend it if you don't tell me. Morong Qing smiled. If you don't lend it, I'll borrow it from someone else. Hey. Morong Qing stopped Lin Xian. You think borrowing 1 billion or so is like borrowing a few hundred yuan. First, I know very well whether you have the ability or not. At least not now. I don't even know what you want to do. You want me to lend it to you? No one will lend it to you, okay? Lin Xian shrugged and said, to develop my own power. Okay, you do need money. But can you earn it? I'll start making the gene medicine now. I need to borrow money to customize the equipment, factory, and company building. Morong Qing drank the red wine in one gulp. She had to admit that this woman was too tempting. You can do it. Morong Qing stayed mainly because of the gene medicine. Lin Xian said he wanted to try it, so she waited. She didn't expect that he would start manufacturing and selling it after trying it out. Okay, the formula is done. Next, I can directly promote the manufacturing. Okay, I'll invest 30 billion. It's an investment, the kind that you don't need to pay back. You give me 10% of the company's shares in the future. Is that okay? Morong Shui smiled. Lin Xian. 30 billion. What the F***ck? Rich people could really do whatever they wanted. Morong Qing is very smart. 30 billion was indeed a huge sum of money. Lin Xian did not even need to spend a single cent from the start of the business. It was all Morong Qing's money. Obviously, this was a cooperation that couldn't be refused. But this was Morong Qing's cleverness. From the first day she saw this thing, she knew that she was going to make a big profit. I say, big sister, aren't you dreaming too much? Lin Xian smiled. I want to play the controlling stake. I won't sell my shares. Thank you. Lin Xian was also smart. When others did business, they would worry about losing money. Of course, there was also the possibility of profits. As for Lin Xian, he didn't have to worry about losing money, because this was destined to be an industry that couldn't lose money. Profit margin. Sorry, don't even think about it. As long as he had enough Adonis points, he could earn enough money for the entire continent. This was the trend of the times. Just like mobile phones, everyone basically had one. But the difference was that there were many mobile phone companies, and Lin Xian had a monopoly. And it was a monopoly where the supply could not meet the demand. Lin Xian and Mo Rongqing were both clear about this point. Even though the increase in attributes might not be much, it was still the same old saying. Who would dislike the useless attributes and not want them? Moreover, this was a bonus to physique and spirit. As everyone knew, physique represented defense, and defense represented survival. If your defense was strong, it might only be a few dozen points. Maybe you could save a life. A few dozen points. One had to know that this was an increase that could only be achieved by raising the realm by a few stars in the early stage. This was very significant. The most important thing was the spirit cultivation fluid. As everyone knew, the increase in spirit was very small. It was related to the birth of a person. The stronger the spirit, the higher the spiritual power value, and the stronger the divine sense. This was a very important attribute. Even if it was just a single point, people would fight over it. Now Lin Xian was not worried about whether he could make money, but whether he had enough goods. 100 million Adonis points, if not diluted, it would be 100 million portions. If diluted, it might be 300 to 400 million portions. It might seem a lot, but just Hua Nation alone had a population of tens of billions. The 5 major empires together had a population of 30 to 40 billion. This aqua-blue planet was much bigger than Earth, with a population of 7 to 8 billion. Think about it. With so many people, there would naturally be a lot of demand. Moreover, each person could upgrade 5 times. In other words, many people would buy 5, and the 2 types would add up to 10. This was a situation where the supply could not meet the demand. 100 million Adonis points could only be sold to tens of millions of martial artists. There were still tens of billions Adonis points. This was not F*King enough. But now more and more Adonis points were being given out. Mo Rongqing sighed secretly. It was indeed difficult to deal with smart people. I'll promote you, I'll pay for it. In short, I'll do a lot of things in the early stage. 5% of the shares. Mo Rongqing knew very well that the market value of this 5% of shares might exceed the 30 billion she had to give in the future. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. Big brother, 5%. I'm just making some money, and I only want 5% of your company. It doesn't include 5% of the control rights of the forces you may create in the future, let alone 5%. Even if it's 40%, only the one who owns the majority of the shares has the right to speak. Mo Rongqing was speechless. Originally, the Holy Temple wanted to master this technology, but since Lin Xian did not want to, she would just make some money. Alright, 5% it is. But 30 billion, you said it. Mo Rongqing said helplessly. Yes, I said it. So stingy. Lin Xian. Oh right, I don't have to say much about the prospects of this industry. I won't support you if you don't make money. But are you sure that no one else will get the formula? Lin Xian smiled and said, I'm sure and certain. In the future, I'll be the only one who will have the complete formula. But during the manufacturing process, the workers will know the formula too. But only I have the materials. Oh ho! Mo Rongqing raised her beautiful eyebrows. Isn't your boasting too fake? No one in this world dares to boast like this. How can you say that only you have the materials? It's such a big continent. As long as you know what it is, you can always find it. And it seems that you want to mass produce it. Naturally, the materials will be easy to find. Lin Xian smirked. Yes, but there is one type that only I have. Don't worry about that. A monopoly is a monopoly. Alright, I don't know where I get the courage to support you like this. Because you have money. You're not afraid of losing money. Lin Xian smiled and said. Hee, that's true. Now tell me your plan. Lin Xian. I need you to help me find a group of professional designers to build the equipment as fast as possible. At the same time, go to Linen City tomorrow and see if there are any bidders for the building. Chapter 572. Mo Rongqing rubbed her delicate chin and then said to Lin Xian, Amazing engineers and designers are easy. I can bring my people here. You will believe me, right? Lin Xian smiled and said, Whether I believe you or not is another point. The main point is that I am sure that even if you want to steal any secrets, you won't be able to. Besides, there are no secrets. There were indeed no secrets. When the time came, the formula would not be known by Lin Xian alone. The staff in charge of manufacturing would naturally come into contact with all the formulas and would know. However, they would not be able to obtain the most important chalcedony liquid. Even if they could steal it, there would only be so much of it. Even if they could make it, the chalcedony liquid would be useless after it was used up. Because only Lin Xian had the chalcedony liquid. I really don't know where you get your confidence from. Morongqing just could not understand. Curious, Lin Xian asked with a smile. Quite curious. When a woman starts to be curious about a man, that's the beginning of the girl's fall. Morongqing could not help but laugh out loud. Then please let me fall. I have been single for more than 26 years. Almost 27 years. I have never been in love. I also want to know what it feels like to fall. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. There will be a day. Don't worry. Really? You mean to say that I will fall for you? Of course. After all, I am so handsome and so outstanding. Hehe. Lin Xian. Let's go. I will look for you tomorrow. Are you going to Linen City? Lin Xian asked. Morongqing nodded. Thanks to you. I am bored to death every day. Of course I will go. Remember to bring the money, Lin Xian said and walked away. Morongqing shook her head secretly. Is he really a newborn calf that is not afraid of tigers? Or is he really that confident? This business will definitely make money. It is the only business that will not lose money. Moreover, it will make a lot of money. But how can you guarantee that your formula will not be stolen? This is very interesting. Obviously, the formula was the most important. She believed that as long as it was a formula, as long as it was a finished product, as long as they wanted to develop it in large quantities, there would definitely be a lot of workers. Then, there would definitely be a lot of people who would come in contact with them. There might even be spies from other families, including herself. When the time came, the raw materials would all be in the factory. Everyone would know what the raw materials were, including the number of workers. Since they wanted to produce it in large quantities, they would definitely be worried that the formula would be leaked. Even if she racked her brains, she still wouldn't understand. So, Lin Xian had the Adonis system. So the formula could only be provided by the Adonis system. So, the jade marrow liquid didn't exist in this world. Lin Xian hummed a tune as he walked on the road at night. Now that Han Chuxue and Ling Ying were completely at ease, and his plan was ready to begin, what else was there to worry about? Zhao Mengyue, Evil Fiend Shrine, Yao beasts attacking the city and then missions. Suddenly, Lin Xian's footsteps paused. I say, you guys stop following me. Come out. Lin Xian's voice rang out. Behind him, two figures slowly walked out from a secluded alley. Chi! A sneer came from the mouth of a very handsome man. Lin Xian turned around to look at them. Two very handsome men. In the words of those men, they were little fresh meat, Adonis. Moreover, there was an air of arrogance and nobility about them that made them seem superior to everyone else. They were the same type as Zhao Nanfeng. When Lin Xian saw them, he roughly knew who they were. You're Lin Xian. Ouyang Jing's eyes were full of contempt as he looked at Lin Xian. Ouyang Jing, the second young master of Tiandu's Ouyang family, one of Han Chushue's suitors. The Ouyang family was one of the 8 great families, but it was said that the eldest young master of the Ouyang family, his elder brother, was also one of Han Chushue's suitors. However, he probably felt that he had no chance, since they were already married. Whether I'm Lin Xian or not, don't you know? Lin Xian sneered in his heart. This was the usual tactic of this group of people. They clearly knew who was who, but when they saw him, they would deliberately ask him, "Are you so-and-so?" It made them seem very high and mighty, but in Lin Xian's eyes, they were pure idiots. This third-tier city isn't big, and the prices aren't high. Everything is trash. However, the people of this city have quite a temper. They haven't seen much of the world, but they have quite a temper. How sad. Another man took a step forward and said with a sneer. Lin Xian also sneered back. I bet you don't dare to say that in front of the citizens of Tianhua City. Chen Mo secretly clenched his fist. How did he know who they were? Since you know who we are, we don't want to make things difficult for you. Leave Han Chuxue. Chen Mo coldly stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian picked his ears and made a tisk sound. Brother, let me ask you something. Chen Mo and Ouyang Jing looked at each other. If you have something to say it. How many suitors does Chuxue have in the 8 great families of Tiandu? Not to mention the 8 great families. How many young people in Tiandu don't admire her? You better know your place. Why don't you take a look at yourself? Ouyang Jing sneered. Then I want to ask, both of you are Chushue's suitors. If I give up on her, won't you fight each other to the death? Lin Xian asked with a smile. You don't have to worry about that. Even if Chuxue follows young Master Chun or anyone in Tiandu, we won't say anything. But you can't, a poor person from a 3rd-tier city. Ouyang Jing looked at Lin Xian and said. Oh, but I, a poor person from a 3rd-tier city, managed to chase the goddess that you can't chase even after racking your brains. Then what do you think? A group of young masters from the 8 great families can't compare to a trash from a 3rd-tier city. Then what are you? The trash of trash? Lin Xian couldn't help but mock. You're courting death. Ouyang Jing was angry and wanted to attack, but was stopped by Chen Mo. Moreover, even if I leave Chuxue, you don't have the ability to chase her. If you ask me, go home. The two looked at each other. It seems that you think you can do whatever you want, because you used some kind of trick to deceive Chuxue, right? This young master will let you know how big the gap between you and us is. Ouyang Jing's aura surged. 5 stars of the Thunder Tribulation Realm. The so-called genius of Tiandu is like this? Lin Xian sneered. Of course not. Although they were from the 8 great families of Tiandu, they weren't the most powerful ones. Chapter 573. 5 stars of the Thunder Calamity Realm. It was actually quite impressive for a 21 or 22 years old to have this realm. As for actual combat ability, that was another aspect. But it was only 5 stars of the Thunder Calamity Realm. Shameless boasting. Wind Forest Volcano. A flame erupted from Ouyang Jing's body, wrapping around him. Wind and fire dual attributes. This young master will ask you one last time. Are you going to scram or not? Lin Xian twisted his neck. Idiot. Alright, die for this young master. As the young masters of Tiandu, what did they not dare to do? However, they did not dare to kill Lin Xian. After all, he was still Han Chushue's boyfriend, and Han Chushue's mother was here. But in the end, Lin Xian was fine and she went back. This would make him more cautious, but it was not a problem to injure him. Moreover, he did not believe that the Han family would acknowledge Lin Xian. Swish, a terrifying force rushed toward Lin Xian. As for Lin Xian, he directly appeared behind him. 5 Thunder Celestial Phenomenon. Brother Ouyang, be careful. Chen Mo was shocked. Sizzle sizzle, thunder and fire merged. But after all, Lin Xian's realm was 4 stars lower than his, and the flame beside him was also an earth rank martial technique. Its grade was not low. Bang! The 2 forces collided and both of them retreated more than 10 steps at the same time. Space and thunder dual attributes. Thunder Calamity Realm. Ouyang Jing revealed a shocked expression. How was this possible? He did not investigate Lin Xian at all. He only heard that he had a space attribute. He did not expect him to be so powerful. In terms of attributes, he was absolutely suppressed. Chen Mo did not make a move. Compared to Ouyang Jing, he was much calmer. Young Master Chen, are you sure you don't want to make a move? Ouyang Jing glanced at Chen Mo, who was standing not far away. With just this one move, he felt that even though his level was higher than Lin Xian's, he didn't have much of a chance of winning. His attributes made it so that even if he didn't want to fight, he could still run. However, he knew that this Chen Mo was also of the space attribute, and his realm was the same as his. With his space restriction, Lin Xian would not be able to escape. Chen Mo had no choice but to wave his hand. Space imprisonment. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up, and he broke through the spatial shackles. What? Chen Mo revealed a shocked expression. How could the spatial attribute released by a 1-star Lightning Tribulation Realm cultivator instantly break through the spatial confinement released by a 5-star lightning tribulation realm cultivator. I'm sorry, although your realm is a bit higher, your control of the control attribute and the purity of the spatial attribute are far from mine. Spatial shackles. Lin Xian also released the spatial shackles. Chen Mo was shocked to find that he was unable to break through in a short period of time. The space released by a 1-star lightning tribulation realm cultivator crushed his 5-star lightning tribulation realm spatial energy. Whoosh! Lin Xian then teleported behind the dumbfounded Ouyang. Bang! He kicked his back that was still burning with flames, and he was sent flying. Next time, please bring some more powerful people over. You guys are not enough. Lin Xian said mockingly before walking away. He couldn't be bothered to waste any more time with them. His shoes were basically scrapped. Although Lin Xian's combat strength was indeed stronger than theirs, the flames of a 5-star lightning tribulation realm cultivator were not to be trifled with. None of them were serious. But even if they were, Lin Xian would not necessarily be afraid of the two of them working together. One was constantly training and had the combat experience of 2 lifetimes. The other was 2 flowers that lived in a greenhouse and had never experienced setbacks or life and death. They were destined to be higher than Lin Xian in terms of their realm, but that was all. However, they were destined to be surpassed by Lin Xian. This kick did not cause any substantial damage to Ouyang, but it insulted his self-esteem and pride. Bastard! Go to hell! Ouyang was furious. Brother Ouyang, calm down. This Lin Xian has the space attribute. Even if you have the wind attribute, you can't do anything to him. Chen Mo hurriedly said. Ouyang gritted his teeth, and then withdrew his power. If this matter spreads out, won't our reputation be ruined? Ouyang said unwillingly. Lin Xian is Han Chushua's boyfriend. We are unreasonable. Then why did you still come with me? Didn't you want him to stay away from Chushua? Chen Mo said, that's that. At least this Lin Xian's combat strength is still very strong. With the lightning and space attributes, we are naturally not afraid of him if we work together. We are also not afraid of a one-on-one fight. At least, it will be difficult to take him down. Bullshit, so what if he has the space attribute? It's only because we are in the city that I don't dare to use my true strength. No matter how hedonistic he was, the 8 great families and the 3 great powers were different. No matter how powerful the 8 great families were, they were still below the 3 great powers. Even the 8 great families did not dare to challenge the 3 great powers. If he committed a crime, as long as the 3 great powers did not want to let go, he would be judged even if he was the young master of the 8 great families. Chen Mo did not say anything. Young Master Chen, in your opinion, what should we do now? Chen Mo pondered for a moment. If we can't do it by force, then we can use our wits. 10 minutes ago, I sent someone to check on this Lin Xian's schedule, and found that he booked a Star Cloud car to go to Lin City at 10 in the morning tomorrow. The Star Cloud car was a special bus. It was extremely fast, and was powered by special crystals. It was a means of transportation for ordinary people to travel between big cities. Although it was a human world, there were a lot of undeveloped areas between the cities, and there were a lot of demon beasts in these areas. It was not that the human race and the demon race divided the world into 2. There were no demon beasts in the areas where the human race lived. It was not because there were too many places in the human race that were barren or undeveloped. The demon beasts did not necessarily need to travel through the cities to go to the human race. Those demon beasts were also the targets of the martial artists in the inland cities. It was just that as long as it was not a large number, millions of demon beasts migrating there would not be a big problem. The cities also had barriers, even Tiandu was the same. However, if a large number of demon beasts migrated, it would naturally be discovered. Even if the human race entered the barren land, as long as there were a lot of them, coupled with the power of technology, they would definitely be discovered. Therefore, even in the inland, such as from Tianhua City to Lin City, from Lin City to Fengyun City, the hundreds of kilometers of uninhabited places in between were also demon beast territory. The difference was that those places were inhabited by the human race. Under such circumstances, The Star Cloud car had become the only means of transportation. There were planes, but there were almost none now. Although it was faster, there were also many demon beasts flying in the sky. Planes were really fragile. Once the plane crashed, even if you were in the Thunder Tribulation realm or the Law realm, you would not be able to survive in the plane. For this reason, there were no means of transportation in the sky. Of course, if you were not afraid and had the money, you could buy your own plane and fly it. Chapter 574. Lin Xian's mood wasn't ruined because of this incident. Instead, he was very happy. This young master is awesome. Your goddess was wooed by this young master. Are you unhappy? Angry? Wahahaha, then stay angry. On the way, his phone rang. The caller ID showed that it was Lu Yufan. Hello, little Fan, what's up? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Lu Yufan's voice came from the other side. Do I have to have something to call you? Then you must be missing me. Lin Xian said with a smile. Tell me, how many days has it been since you last saw me? How can there be a boyfriend like you? Lu Yufan said with grievance. Ding. Feeling Lu Yufan's grievance, Adonis points plus 50,000. These 50,000 Adonis points could reach 100,000 sets of gene medicine in the future, or even more. However, Lin Xian also knew after hearing Lu Yufan's words. Yes, she was his girlfriend, but what about it? This wasn't a long-distance relationship. Their homes were only a few kilometers apart. They hadn't seen each other for a few days. It was normal for girls to complain. Sorry, I've been a bit busy recently. I have to go to Lin City tomorrow. Lin Xian sincerely apologized from the bottom of his heart, because he knew that it was all his fault. Not only Lu Yufan, but also Miao Xiaomiao, Wang Xintong, and even Xiao Runing and Yi Yi. Lin Xian was quite cold to them. Lin Xian also wanted to play with them every day. But a day was so short. These days, he was busy with Han Chuxue and Ling Ying. It was normal for him to forget about them. Even Lin Yu was cold to them. But that didn't mean that Lin Xian didn't care about them. Hearing Lin Xian's apology, Lu Yufan felt much better. I don't mean to blame you, Lu Yufan said in a low voice. You have things to do. I should be happy for you. At least you're not slacking off like before. It's just that. I miss you. Lu Yufan said with embarrassment. Lin Xian froze for a moment, then smiled happily. This girl. I miss you too. Ba. Who would believe your nonsense? I'm hanging up. Go ahead and get busy. When you're done, remember to come and play with me and Yi. Lin Xian nodded. Yes. Then Lu Yufan reluctantly hung up the phone. Lin Xian took a deep breath and looked at the time. It was already 9 p.m. He really wanted to visit Miao Xiaomiao and Wang Xintong, as well as Lu Yufan. However, he decided against it. After returning from Lin City, he would spend more time with them. He didn't want to let any of the girls down, and he couldn't bear to let any of them go. But he couldn't take it. This era wasn't ancient times. They had to know about these things. How could Lin Xian make them accept these things? He could only say, even if he couldn't bear to, he had to respect their choice. If Lin Xian was really a scumbag, if he really didn't care about them, Lu Yufan, Wang Xintong, and Lin Xian would have had sex with them a long time ago. Because he cared about them, Lin Xian didn't really take advantage of them. As for Miao Xiaomiao, that little loli, he would raise her first. The next morning, Lin Xian yawned as he walked out of his room. Let's eat. Do you want me to accompany you to Lin City? Lin Ye had already prepared breakfast for Lin Xian. No need. You can go shopping with Miss Xiao or train. It's a small matter. Leave it to me. Lin Xian smiled as he pinched Lin Ye's cheeks. But you don't have any experience with these things. Lin Ye looked at Lin Xian worriedly. Don't worry. I have a big boss with me. She has experience. Okay, as long as you believe me. Let's eat. Rose Heaven Hall. Lin Xian and Ling Longyue sat there. In front of Ling Longyue was a pile of desserts, drinks, and delicious food. She was happily eating. Ding. Ling Longyue's favorability towards you +1. I didn't expect you to have such a good heart. You brought me out to eat so early in the morning. You're not as bad as before. Ling Longyue said. She was indeed not as bad as before. She wanted to kill this bad guy before, but now she couldn't bear to. Perhaps she didn't realize it herself. After all, her favorability towards him was 36. It was even higher than her sister's. Hearing Ling Longyue's words, Lin Xian awkwardly coughed. How should he put it? Bringing her out to eat was just convenient. While waiting for Morong Qing, Lin Xian wanted to bring Ling Longyue to Lin'an City. As for the purpose, first, it might be to cultivate their relationship. Second, was there anyone more suitable than her as a full-time bodyguard? Furthermore, this girl was very gullible. Although he had said that he would take her out to eat delicious food, it was actually just a matter of convenience. More importantly, she was acting as Lin Xian's bodyguard. Who knew if any accidents would happen? With this girl around, Lin Xian was even more confident. That's right. I wasn't bad in the past, okay? Who said so? You were so bad in the past. At that time I even wanted to kill you. Ling Longyue rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Cough cough, after eating, I'll bring you to another city. Why? Ling Longyue asked curiously. To play. The human world you're in is just a hotel in Tianhua City and Jinghua City. The human world is huge. Every city has its own face. I'll bring you to see more. Ding. Deceiving big sister. Prince Charming points plus 100,000. Okay. Ling Longyue agreed without hesitation. Since she was bored and she was alone, she was indeed hoping to follow Lin Xian to play. Is that city more fun than here? Ling Longyue's big eyes sparkled as she asked expectantly. Not necessarily. Everyone has different opinions. It's up to you whether you think it's fun or not. But it's definitely different from Tianhua City. Lin Xian. Okay, let's go. Then this little girl was tricked by Lin Xian again. She was still happily thinking that Lin Xian was bringing her to see other cities. In fact, she was just a pitiful little girl. At this time, Morong Qing walked over in a white casual outfit with sunglasses. She attracted everyone's attention. This woman was too tempting. She was the most tempting woman Lin Xian had ever seen. Like Ling Longshui and Bing Lingyue. They were beautiful, but their temperament was not the seductive type. Morong Qing saw Ling Longyue, a sky sovereign expert. Morong Qing was not surprised that Lin Xian brought her along. She was only curious as to how Lin Xian could casually send a sky sovereign expert. Lin Xian wanted to say that it was simple. Give her good food and toys, and then coax and lie to her, just like coaxing a child. Let's go. She can buy her ticket at the station. The Star Cloud car was much faster than driving by themselves. It was also safer. The journey to Lin'an City was 500 kilometers. It would take a day to drive, but it would take 4 to 5 hours by car. Chapter 575. Buying tickets naturally required an ID card. Lin Xian had already asked someone to get Ling Longyue's ID card. As for Ling Longshui and Bing Lingyue, Lin Xian brought them to get their ID cards done personally. After all, they did not know what an ID card was. Living in the city, an ID card was something that cannot be missing. Why not have an ID card now? Even going online required an ID card. Going to a hotel also required an ID card. And these girls would be living with Lin Xian in the future. An ID card was definitely something that could not be missed. Hey, why are you in a daze? Morong Qing sat down and stole the uneaten pasta in front of Lin Xian without him noticing. Nothing. Lin Xian shook his head. A guy will only be in a daze because of one thing. Morong Qing said. All right. You have lived for almost 27 years and have never been in a relationship. How can you know this? Lin Xian retorted. Morong Qing. Why was she so angry? In the past, she did not feel anything. On the contrary, she had lived for more than 26 years and still kept her chastity. She was proud of herself. But now that Lin Xian said that, she felt that she was so pitiful. What's wrong with that? My sister and I have never been in a relationship. We have been in a relationship for much longer than you guys. Ling Longyue muttered as she ate silently. Are you lonely? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Get lost. Damn pervert. Ling Longyue rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. If it was based on her previous impression of him, Lin Xian would have already flown out. Are you done eating? If you are, let's go. N. Ling Longyue then stood up with the dessert in one hand and a drink in the other. Let's go. Morong Qing then went out to get the car. When will your sister and the rest return? Lin Xian could not help but ask. Because they were too far away from where humans lived, the signal could not reach them. Therefore, Lin Xian had lost contact with them for a long time. I don't know. Ling Longyue shook her head. What? Lin Xian smiled and said, I do. TSK, don't you know who you are? Ling Longyue rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Lin Xian. He really wanted to hit her. A red sports car stopped at the entrance of the hotel. Get in. In the Star Cloud car, Lin Xian and the other two sat there. Lin Xian and Ling Longyue sat on one side while Morong Qing sat opposite them. The Star Cloud car was on its way to Lin'an City. Because Tianhua City was indeed in a state of unrest recently, a large number of residents would leave for other cities. Of course, they might not be moving, but taking this opportunity to travel. Who knows, maybe they could avoid the disaster. If there was no disaster, they would return to work and so on. Therefore, there were many people in the Star Cloud car. Morong Qing, of course, did not like to sit with strangers. She also knew that Lin Xian would most likely choose to sit with Ling Longyue. Therefore, she had already bought both seats. There were some people around who didn't have an empty seat. After all, they had bought standing tickets. They also knew that although they had noticed this empty seat and this super beauty, no one sat there. The two people sitting not far away were Ouyang Jing and Chen Mo. It was too easy for them to track Lin Xian's whereabouts. After all, Lin Xian used his own identity. Of course, they also saw Lin Xian and the others. Brother Ouyang, don't you feel that the woman opposite Chen Mo looks a little familiar? Chen Mo frowned and suddenly asked, Young Master Chen, do all the beauties look familiar? Ouyang Jing joked. Then he glanced at the side of Morong Qing's face. But she is really beautiful. I'm afraid that she is not inferior to Han Chuxue. This Lin Xian's luck with women is also amazing. But no matter how beautiful the women in this third-tier city are, they are still the same. Chen Mo did not think too much about it. I don't know why this Lin Xian suddenly left Tianhua City. I hope we can make his plan fail. Ouyang Jing's eyes were full of gloominess. They came here for Lin Xian. What's the harm in spending more time? They knew that Lin Xian left Tianhua City for no reason and did not bring Han Chuxue his family. Naturally, something must have happened. At this time, a man squeezed through the crowd and sat in the empty seat next to Morong Qing. Morong Qing turned her head and glanced at him. Beauty, let's get to know each other. Then he smiled gentlemanly and handed Morong Qing a business card. I am Wang Yulong, the chairman of Yulong Group. Morong Qing curled her lips and said, I don't know you. Thank you, please move. Wang Yulong was the CEO of a company. He had an important matter to attend to in Lin'an City. He managed to catch the bus, but he didn't manage to buy a ticket. However, he suddenly saw an empty seat, and then saw a woman who was so beautiful that she took his breath away. For people like him, once he had money, all that was left was women. If he could prove his identity and get this woman, and at the same time, get a seat for a few hours, it would be wonderful. As for why he did not drive himself or hire someone to drive him to Lin'an City, it was because it was dangerous. Other than the transportation of the three forces, what was safer than the Star Cloud car? Wang Yulong smiled and said, Don't be so nervous. Let's get to know each other. 3 seconds. If you don't get lost, do you believe that you will fly out? Morong Qing said domineeringly. I say, you are a beautiful woman, but you are a bit too domineering. You don't want to give an empty seat to someone else? Don't you think so, everyone? Wang Yulong then said to the people who were standing around. Yes. There is such a big empty seat. Why does one person occupy 2 seats? Yes, just because you are beautiful? Ridiculous. For a moment, some of the passengers who were standing around began to agree with him. They were already unhappy just standing there. Plus, they saw that Wang Yulong seemed to be rich and powerful. They valued this point. Moreover, these days, there were all kinds of incidents of people occupying seats on cars, eating instant noodles, insulting passengers and beating and scolding drivers. They also felt that Morong Qing might be one of them. Anyway, they were just unhappy. Now that someone had taken the lead, of course, they would speak out. Wang Yulong could give up this woman, who was so beautiful that it took his breath away. However, he had to save his face. Moreover, he did not exercise all year round and overindulged. His body was not very good. Standing for a few hours was really a torture. Hearing the words of the people around him, Wang Yulong sneered in his heart. Why do you occupy 2 seats? The corner of Morong Qing's mouth curled up. Then, she slapped the 2 tickets on the table. Because I've already paid for these 2 seats. So do you think I can sit on both seats? Chapter 576. Morong Qing's words made those who agreed with her speechless. Wang Yulong looked at her and was stunned. Was there such a thing in this day and age? So, are you going to scram or not? Morong Qing glanced at Wang Yulong coldly. Wang Yulong then said, Beauty, you can't waste a free seat, right? How about this? This ticket is 800 yuan. I'll pay you double and give me the seat. Scram. 3 times. I'll say it again, scram. 10 times. You just don't have enough money, right? 8,000 yuan. I'll buy your seat. Wang Yulong said. Last time. Morong Qing said coldly again. Lin Xian didn't panic at all. This Morong Qing was much more unyielding than him. She had money and power. Lin Xian didn't worry about what she wanted to do. He didn't need to clean up her mess either. Wang Yulong sneered. Okay. How about 80,000? 80,000? I'll give you 80,000 yuan for this ticket, and accompany me for a night. Is that enough? In his opinion, what kind of woman couldn't be won over by money? Couldn't be won over? That's because he didn't have enough money. This woman was indeed top-notch. He was willing even if it was 80,000 yuan. Morong Qing couldn't help but laugh. The surrounding people secretly shook their heads. Sure enough, society was like this. Money could make people put down their dignity. Looking at her smile, she was obviously going to agree. I'll give you 800,000 yuan. Kneel down and apologize to me. 800,000 yuan? Ha ha ha. 800,000 yuan. Take out 100,000 yuan first. Ha ha ha. You're acting cool in front of me. Okay, don't pretend to be reserved. You just don't have enough money, right? I've seen a lot of women like you. Which woman isn't like that? Just use money. 80,000 yuan isn't enough, right? Is 100,000 yuan enough? Wang Yulong said and took out a check. Morong Qing had seen all kinds of people flirting with her. But this was the first time she saw such a disgusting guy. Slap bang. The crowd couldn't help but scream subconsciously, because Wang Yulong was sent flying by Morong Qing's slap. The space of the Star Cloud car was quite big. Wang Yulong Qing's body flew for about 2 meters, and then landed on the ground. You're so despicable. Why did you have to make a move? Morong Qing's good mood was ruined by this beast. This time, not only did the surrounding people not attack Morong Qing, but they also felt relieved. In the beginning, they stood on Wang Yulong's side, because they felt that Morong Qing was not a good woman. But now they discovered that they were wrong. This woman was worthy of their admiration. F***ck. Smelly B***th. How dare you hit me? Do you know who I am? I'm the boss of Yulong Group. Wang Yulong was naturally embarrassed to be slapped like this in front of him. Moreover, it was by a woman. Not far away, 3 men with standing tickets quickly gathered around. They were obviously Wang Yulong's bodyguards. They didn't come over earlier, because they didn't expect their boss to be sent flying. Lin Xian secretly shook his head. It was over. If it was before, he would have just slandered Morong Qing. But now, he actually scolded her. Wang Yulong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with a gloomy face. You're the one who started it, so don't blame me for being rude. Drag her out and strip her naked. Wang Yulong said angrily. Yes. Everyone secretly shook their heads. This was bad. But some of them were looking forward to it. If this kind of beauty, oh my god, I can't take it. On the other side, Ouyang Jing sneered. Sure enough, they're a bunch of bumpkins from a 3rd-tier city. What idiots. But to be able to see this kind of beauty doing that, it's not a waste of time. Brother Ouyang, don't you want to be a hero and save the beauty? Under normal circumstances he would definitely go. He would even take the initiative to strike up a conversation. But when he remembered that this beauty was Lin Xian's colleague, he decided against it. I'm not going. The three bodyguards slowly walked over. Morongqing then looked at Lin Xian. Little Xian. What? Lin Xian scratched his head in confusion. Why was she looking at him all of a sudden? Cripple him and break his legs. Lin Xian. Why don't you do it yourself? I'm not doing it. Lin Xian said proudly. Dirty your hands. Help me cripple him, and I'll slap you for the whole night. Lin Xian. Damn. Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. So this young man was the real boss? Let me do it. Ling Longyue was also unhappy with this Wang Yulong. Although it wasn't directed at her, he actually looked down on girls. She was a lawless person. Ling Longyue then stood up and walked over. Little brat. Who do you think you are? Slap her too. Wang Yulong said angrily. Everyone couldn't bear to watch. Such a small loli. She would cry for a long time from this slap. One of the bodyguards raised his hand. Bang bang bang. The next scene made everyone speechless. Thump. The three bodyguards held their stomachs and knelt on the ground. Ling Longyue then went to Wang Yulong. What? Ouyang Jing and Chen Mo were also shocked. Young Master Chen, did you see this girl fight? Ouyang Jing asked in shock. Chen Mo shook his head. No. It was too fast. I couldn't see it clearly. I admit that even if it was me, I wouldn't be able to do it so fast that I couldn't see the movement of three people. She seems very powerful. Although he was shocked, in Ouyang Jing's view, there were countless experts who could do this. It was nothing much. However, the others were even more shocked. Wang Yulong's face was extremely ugly. He was also extremely shocked. What happened? Why did the three bodyguards he brought fall? How did this girl appear in front of him in an instant? Wang Yulong gritted his teeth and angrily slapped Ling Longyue. Crack. Ah. The sound of bones being broken was accompanied by a heart-wrenching scream, making everyone's heart tremble. This wasn't a dislocation. This was a bone being broken. Wang Yulong was lying on the ground screaming, and his right hand was completely flipped over. Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva. How could such a young and cute loli be so ruthless? Damn it! Ling Longyue was furious. Crack. Ah! One of Wang Yulong's legs was broken by her little foot. Ouyang Jing and Chen Mo were shocked when they saw this. Isn't this too ruthless? How could a 12 to 14-year-old girl be so ruthless? Wang Yulong never thought that these people would dare to do this. Wait for your death. All of you wait for your death. Wang Yulong wailed. Yes. Openly attacking people would be punished by the trial union. Even if they didn't kill anyone. And this Wang Yulong was very rich and powerful. They could still vent their anger. However, what happened next? You're courting death. Ling Longyue's delicate body exploded with energy, wanting to kill him. Wait. Lin Xian stopped her. Enough. Crippling him is fine. But killing him is not allowed. Go back and sit. Lin Xian then looked at him. Crack. The other leg was broken by him. Everyone? Chapter 577. These are all ruthless people. Wang Yulong fainted. If he didn't faint, he would die from the pain. What's going on? Several staff members heard the commotion and quickly ran over. The Star Cloud carriage was under the control of the three major forces. There would also be some powerful people from the three major forces accompanying the carriage to protect everyone's safety. Naturally, there would be people coming over. Then, they saw this miserable scene and glanced at it. Who did this? It's her. Lin Xian pointed at Morongqing and said, Morongqing. Hey, is this how you sell people? The main thing was that Lin Xian knew that she would be fine. These people didn't know Morongqing. Publicly injuring someone. The circumstances are serious, and you're defying the law. When we reach Lin'an City, you will be brought to the enforcement union for punishment. A man then said, Miss, please cooperate with our law enforcement and come with us. Morongqing then stood up and looked at Lin Xian and said, This old lady will remember you. Hey, it's obviously your order. All right, let's go. Morongqing said. Did you guys make a move? That man looked at Lin Xian and Ling Longyue. No, we're good people. It's her. Lin Xian pointed at Morong Qing and said, I say, young Master Lin, how can you say such nonsense? Everyone around saw that the two of you beat him up like this, and you still haven't made a move? At this time, Ouyang Jing walked over and said, if Lin Xian was imprisoned in the enforcement union, wouldn't it affect one of his plans? Why are these two people here? What a coincidence. No, it can't be so coincidental. They must have followed him here. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. All right, we'll make a move too. Let's go together. Then the three of them were taken away. Those people felt that it was a pity. This was considered as enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens, right? What a pity. Ouyang Jing sneered. Young Master Chen, what do you think of my move? Chen Mo nodded. Not bad. Even if this Lin Xian is arrogant, he wouldn't dare to go against the three major forces. Naturally, he wouldn't dare to run away, crippling the CEO of a company, although it doesn't reach the level of murder. But according to normal trial, it won't be a problem to lock him up for 1 or 2 years. However, they were acting in self-defense. If they acted in self-defense, it would probably take a few months. It's over. They didn't expect to end their grudge with Lin Xian in such a way. By locking Lin Xian up for a few months, his cultivation would drop, and his original plans would also be delayed. Although they didn't know what his original plans were, it was very satisfying. In less than a minute, 3 people swaggered over. Everyone's eyes widened. What was going on? Why did he come back? Shouldn't he be locked up temporarily? Ouyang Jing, who was enjoying his coffee, almost spat it out when he saw this scene. What's going on? What are you doing? Give up your seats. Lin Xian said to the people who took their seats. Then those people left resentfully. It's so comfortable to sit here. Lin Xian said happily. Then, he glanced at Ouyang Jing and the others on the other side. What's wrong? You look very surprised. Are you a little disappointed that I'm not locked up? Lin Xian said with a smirk. You think that's enough? This young master wants to see what qualifications you have for the 3 major forces to protect you. At this time, the people from the 3 major forces came over and served Lin Xian and the others tea. You, Ouyang Jing pointed at them and said, covering up a criminal, that's a double crime. Those people looked at Ouyang Jing and said, they were just acting in self-defense. It doesn't constitute a crime. That's still self-defense, right? I don't need you to point fingers. If you're not convinced, go ahead and sue. What a joke. This was the leader of the Divine Palace. What were they afraid of? Do you know who this young master is? This young master is Ouyang Jing of the Ouyang family, one of the 8 major families in Tiandu. You're shielding a criminal in front of me. I think you don't want to live anymore. Hearing his words, everyone was shocked. The young master of the 8 major families? Oh my God! How could such a person appear here? This time it's over. Even if the head of the Ouyang family is here, he'll have to be careful. The man said. Who's that behind him? That's the chief executive of the Divine Palace. Her position is not inferior to any of the heads of the 8 major families. At the same time, the family behind her is the founder of the Divine Palace. Everyone was even more shocked. How is this possible? Why are the ordinary members of the 3 major forces not afraid? Ouyang Jing was also stunned. That's not right. Logically speaking, if he revealed his identity, the other party should be scared out of their wits. The 8 major families. What kind of colossus is that? He's not afraid at all. Is there really such a blind person in this world who's courting death? Not only is he not afraid, he even said that even if the head of the family was here, it would be useless. This really made him feel incredulous. Please remember what you said, Ouyang Jing said with an ugly expression. That's right. He was not afraid of these people. But he did not dare to do anything to the people of the 3 major forces in front of everyone. If he did, he would also be courting death. The 8 major families were colossus, but the 3 major forces were even more colossal existences. It could be said that the 8 major families were the top families, but the 3 major forces were the country. No matter how powerful your family is, can it be compared to the country? Not to mention him. Even if his father was here, he wouldn't dare to offend any of the members of the 3 major forces. Offending a small member was the same as offending the three major forces. Of course, he could still do whatever he wanted in secret. At this time, Morongqing said, "Are the 8 major families really that powerful?" Humph. Ouyang sneered and said, "I guess people like you who live in a third-tier city don't know how terrifying the 8 major families are. Let me tell you simply, any one of the 8 major families has property and power comparable to your entire city combined. Understand? Oh, so powerful." Morongqing looked as if she suddenly realized something. How can a family be so powerful? Do you know how to do some shady business? You better take back that sentence. Ouyang said coldly. Can't afford to offend, can't afford to offend. Then you said that your family is very powerful. Will they send people to kill us? I'm so scared. Hearing Morongqing's words, the surrounding people started to discuss. Ouyang expression was ugly. What he was most afraid of was bringing shame to the Ouyang family. The poor were afraid of the rich were afraid of the powerful were afraid of the powerful, and the powerful were afraid of the masses. If it caused a heated discussion, it would have a huge impact on the Ouyang family. And he had also made a big mistake. Of course not. To us, there is only one enemy, and that is the demonic beasts. Humans are all friends. Ouyang quickly said in a relaxed tone. Chapter 578. The change in Ouyang attitude and tone allowed these people to guess what was going on. That's right. The Ouyang family was indeed a giant. But such a giant was afraid of the people. If a wave of uproar was set off against the Ouyang family, it naturally wouldn't be able to destroy the family. But it would certainly have a certain impact on the family. For such a family, such an impact would not be small. Although it would still be harmless, who would want to become a gun handle? Moreover, to say that everything a big family did was legal, and that they had never secretly killed anyone or played some tricks, that was impossible. No matter how big a family was, they would still be afraid of being targeted by the 3 great forces. This Ouyang was indeed lawless, but he was still rational. He didn't dare to say some harsh words in public. On the contrary, he would retreat. Therefore, these playboys didn't seem to be particularly smart. Perhaps because of some special reasons, they had been warned about these things since they were small families. To be honest, this Ouyang wasn't as stupid as Lin Xian thought. He thought that he could provoke him, and then say something. As for you guys, and this matter, I will personally go to the 3 great forces, and ask them whether you guys are committing a crime. Ouyang snorted coldly, and stopped talking to Lin Xian. Let's drop this matter. First, it was indeed self-defense. As for whether it was excessive self-defense or not, there's no need to argue about it. But in my opinion, that woman might be a little unusual. Chenemo quietly glanced at Morongqing. Isn't she just a little beautiful? Chenemo shook his head. No, don't you suspect why the 3 great forces are so unyielding? The 3 great forces backing them? Impossible. No matter what, they are still ordinary members. Even if they have the 3 great forces backing them, they are still afraid of us secretly attacking them. But they aren't afraid. Just because of their hot blood? Impossible. Obviously, they have something else to rely on. You mean? Chenemo said. It's either that woman or the little girl next to her who seems to be quite strong. Lin Xian is impossible. On second thought, it seems impossible that the little girl is either. The biggest possibility is that woman. We still need to investigate. Check my ass. What kind of ability can a woman from a 3rd-tier city have? I reckon they're all inexperienced people who don't know what kind of power our 8 great clans have. You're just a frog at the bottom of a well. A few hours later, the Star Cloud bus arrived at Lin and City Station. Everyone got off the bus one after another. Lin Xian glanced around and didn't see Ouyang and his companion. Could it be that they didn't come for him? Wasn't that too much of a coincidence? Ling Longyue blinked her big eyes and looked around. Looking at this unfamiliar place, she couldn't tell which was better, compared to Tianhua City. It wasn't better, just about the same. Perhaps there were some differences, such as some famous snacks, that could only be eaten here. Morongqing put on her sunglasses. Her skin was as white as milk. She was tall and slender. Her figure was enough to make people spurt blood. She was a proper goddess. She gave off the feeling of a rich and beautiful woman. Before they came to Linen City, Lin Xian had asked Morongqing to help him check. Today, there was a newly built skyscraper being auctioned. It was located in the city center, a prime location. It was convenient for transportation and not very crowded. It had a total of 32 floors. It was also in line with Lin Xian's idea. Therefore, that was their target. Lin Xian was also very grateful to Morongqing. If it wasn't for her, who knew how he would have found Linen City? Go quickly. There are still 2 hours before the auction starts. Following which, they took a taxi to the city center of Linen City. Not far away, 2 people walked out. Looks like they came with a purpose. Let's take a taxi and follow them. On the bustling streets, it was as if they were shopping. With Morongqing around, who knew how many people would turn their heads? She was different from beautiful girls like Yi Yi and Lu Yufan. Women like Morongqing could stimulate the desire of men to peak. Goddesses like Linglong Shui and Han Chuxue could stimulate the desire of men to conquer them. What's that smell? It stinks. Ling Longyue covered her nose and said in disgust. Lin Xian smiled. Wait a moment. Then, he ran over and came back with 3 sets of stinky tofu. There were many types of stinky tofu. However, Lin Xian only liked to eat roasted ones. Moreover, there were no fillings inside. It was better to just put some chili on the surface. Some were even soaked in a pile of seasoning. Lin Xian didn't like that kind of tofu. However, everyone had their own preferences. Some didn't like roasted tofu. Here, Lin Xian passed the stinky tofu to Ling Longyue. Ling Longyue hid far away. Go away, go away. Are you trying to stink me to death? Ling Longyue said in disgust. This is food. Ling Longyue. Get lost. This tofu must have been left here for a few years. That's why it stinks. Ling Longyue didn't believe it. Oh my god, didn't all delicious things make people drool when they smelled it? How could there be something that stinks when it's delicious? Didn't those corpses smell when they were left outside for a long time? Or when they were spoiled? Then Lin Xian smiled and took a bite. Ling Longyue's mouth was wide open, as if she had seen a ghost. Oh my god. He ate it. He actually ate it. Wasn't this too terrifying? What kind of demon was she friends with? She wouldn't eat a bite even if she died. Morongqing was very curious and surprised. She didn't even know about stinky tofu. This little girl at the Heaven Venerable Realm seemed to be a little special. Either she was living under protection and had never come into contact with anything unclean, or she had never lived in the human world before. Demon race? She couldn't sense it, but she suspected it. She was at the Heaven Venerable Realm at such a young age. Even if her family caught a demon beast for her, she wouldn't be able to reach the Heaven Venerable Realm. High-grade demon beasts weren't something you could catch just because you wanted to. If a demon beast of that level wanted to run away, it would be too difficult to stop it. As for using low-grade demon beasts to raise her realm, not to mention the Heaven Venerable Realm, even if she reached the Domain Realm, the amount of experience points needed to raise her realm by 1 star was unimaginable. It's delicious, Lin Xian said. Ling Longyue. Oh my god. How could he make such an expression of enjoyment and say such words? Was he crazy? There was a conspiracy. There was definitely a conspiracy. But Ling Longyue was very curious. After all, Lin Xian ate it in front of her. It's a little spicy, but it's very satisfying. Lin Xian then took another bite. Ling Longyue. She slowly moved closer. Here. Lin Xian passed the other one to her. She slowly reached out and took it while pinching her little nose with her other hand. Here. Lin Xian also passed one to Morongqing. I'm not eating. Of course, it's not that it's not delicious. It's just that we have to go to a high-end event later. Do you really think it's good to eat this? Chapter 579. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. It doesn't matter. I'll just drink a cup of milk tea later. Then I won't eat it. Morongqing shook her head. She also likes to eat it. But when she attends an event, she will definitely not eat it. Even if the smell can be suppressed, she will not eat it. This is a habit she has developed over the years. It's good that you don't want to eat it. I'll eat it all. Lin Xian threw the bamboo stick he had finished eating into the trash can and started on another one. Ling Longhua was going crazy. She looked at Lin Xian without blinking. Not only did he eat it, but he also ate so much. He still looked like he was enjoying it. Is it really delicious? But it's so smelly. She lowered her head and looked at it. Do you remember what I told you before? This is stinky tofu. It's the kind of thing that smells bad, but tastes especially good. Linen City is the most famous city for stinky tofu. Try it. Since you're here, you can't miss out on the most famous delicacy. Lin Xian said to Ling Longhua with a smile. Ling Longhua believed in Lin Xian's nonsense. You can't lie to me. She pouted and looked at Lin Xian. Damn. Why would I lie to you? I brought you here to eat good food. I told you about stinky tofu before, and now I'm here. Also, if it's not good, why would I eat it? I'll believe you this time. Ling Longhua pinched her nose and took a bite. Her expression was really cute. She took a few more bites, and her big eyes lit up. How is it? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Not bad. Ling Longhua ate another piece. At first, she couldn't accept it, but the more she ate, the better it tasted. Soon she finished it. Do you want more? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Then, let's eat another one. Lin Xian bought 2 more sticks for her with a smile. Only then did he walk away with satisfaction. Lin Xian, why is this thing smelly? But the taste is quite good. Is it made with papa? Lin Xian. Facing Ling Longhua's interrogation, Lin Xian did not know whether to laugh or cry. Wouldn't that be eating shit? Bah! Ling Longhua also realized that she had asked an idiotic question. It's not a problem to eat it in a special way, but it's not good for the body if you eat too much. But for you, a heavenly venerable expert, it's not a big deal even if you eat poison. Ling Longhua nodded and took a sip of her milk tea. Soon, they arrived at their destination. She raised her head and looked at the 30-story building. It was especially beautiful. This building has been built for about a month. Now the public auction will begin. Because of the special location, the bidders are basically the rich people in Linen City. In fact, I don't think you really need to get this building now. The existence of an office building requires the company to reach a very large scale, and even have branches in many places. Only then will it have meaning. Morong Qing looked at Lin Xian and said, It will happen sooner or later. It's not like our beautiful sister is poor, right? Lin Xian grinned at Morong Qing. Morong Qing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Of course, she knew that it would happen sooner or later, because of Lin Xian's business. But as for how long it would take, she did not know. Moreover, the 30-story building would have at least 1,000 employees, right? With 1,000 employees working in a building, the scale of the company would reach the level of 10 billion, or even 100 billion annually. Of course, if it really happened, then Lin Xian would not only be earning 1 billion or 100 billion annually, but 10 billion or even 100 billion a month. Of course, Lin Xian could not do it because he did not have that many Adonis points. One after another, people walked into the building. Let's go in. The auction site was in the building. Then they walked in. 2 people at the back got off the car and saw them entering the building. Are they going to bid for this building? Ouyang frowned. Obviously. Then this young master will snatch it from them. Ouyang Jin sneered. To them, bidding for this building was not a problem at all. For example, Zhao Nanfeng had spent 1 billion just to slap Lin Xian in the face, and buy Drunken Pavilion. As for the money, as long as it wasn't too much, he would be able to bid for it. As for the purpose of bidding for it, he could either choose to give it away, or he could use it to realize his business. It could even become a small branch of the Ouyang family here. In short, with the Ouyang family's financial resources and power, he would not lose anything. Most importantly, he could disrupt Lin Xian's plan. That would be great. He just did not like Lin Xian. Come, let's go in too. Then the 2 of them walked in. Inside the beautiful building, there was a huge space. There were no less than 100 people sitting inside. Every one of them was dressed in a suit and looked graceful. After all, everyone who came here was from the upper class. Then looking at Lin Xian. Alright, he was dressed in a simple casual outfit. Ling Longyue was the same, but her outfit was quite expensive. As for Morong Qing, her outfit was extremely expensive. Even if you were from the upper class, you might not be able to recognize these clothes. You might think that they were from a random brand or from a street stall. In fact, they were clothes that they could not even buy. The three of them sat in the middle of the crowd. Ling Longyue did not know what was going on, and was sipping on her milk tea. The entire space was very high-end and beautiful. In front of them was a huge screen. It was similar to the screen in a movie theater. The only difference was that this was a huge ultra-thin LCD TV. The people around them were chatting with each other, waiting for something. After all, they were from the upper class and had some morals. Although they were chatting, they were not noisy and the volume was very low. Ouyang Jin and Ling Longyue slowly went to the back and sat down. Lin Xian, what are you doing? Ling Longyue asked curiously. Bidding for this building. Ling Longyue's eyes flashed. Head of the house. Lin Xian. Damn. Head of a building with 32 floors? What was this little girl thinking? It's all right. It's not too shabby to be the head of a place like this. Lin Xian. That's wishful thinking. Humph. At this moment, a few men and beauties walked over to the front of the stage. Seeing them, the crowd stopped chatting. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man in his 30s. He was quite handsome, and revealed a gentlemanly smile. Today there are many more people than I expected. I am the chief planner of the construction of Lin and building. Of course, I am also the current owner of this building. My name is Liao Jian. I sincerely welcome you all. The crowd applauded. Mr. Liao, we didn't even have time for lunch before coming to participate in the auction. Ha ha ha. The people around him smiled in agreement. It's my fault. I'll give the order now. After the auction is over, everyone can come for lunch. Liao Jian said with a smile. Then he glanced at the crowd, and his eyes fell on Morong Qing. He had 2 seconds. Chapter 580. To be honest, they were all rich and upper-class people. What kind of woman had they not seen before? Beautiful women, they should be ordinary, right? Among the others, perhaps only the few people beside her had seen Morong Qing. But Liao Jian was facing Morong Qing, so he could see more clearly. Stunning. Incomparably stunning. His wife, all the women he had played with before, what were they? Even before this, he had been complacent because his wife was very beautiful. Yes, she was indeed very beautiful. But he had seen someone even more beautiful. He looked around and saw a young man beside the woman, who seemed to be much younger than her. He should not be her boyfriend. In other words, she might not be married yet. Even if she was married, or had a boyfriend, he should not be present. That was a little interesting. Of course, he was reluctant to part with this linen building, but he could tempt her with other things. Anyway, he was already interested. The people below were all trying to curry favor with him, joking and so on. They all knew how powerful Liao Jian was. 33 years old, the richest man in the entire Linen City. At least in Linen City, his family property was the most. His enterprises were the most. At least, almost all the people present here had cooperated with him. And they hoped to continue cooperating with him, because they would also make money. Although Liao Jian's company was founded by his father, and he was a rich second generation, the fact was that this company sat in the top position of Linen City under his management. The construction of this linen building, they came to auction, not only to get the building, but also to sign a cooperation agreement with Liao Jian's company and the Liao's group. In fact, no one could say for sure if the final price of the auction was in line with the building, but the cost would definitely be higher, which was normal. However, if they could sign a cooperation agreement with the Liao's group, they would definitely make a profit. Liao Jian then said to them with a smile, "Everyone, please look at the big screen. This is some information about Linen Building. Of course, it's now called Linen Building. As for who will get it later, and what it will be called, that's up to you." Then Liao Jian said, "The building has a total of 32 floors, and is made of the best materials. The entire building is covered with high technology. At the same time, there is an airport at the top of the building, which is responsible for the helicopter landing. Moreover, The entire building is powered by solar energy. The energy stored for a day can last for half a month. The entire building also has an extremely large defense system. Although it may be superfluous, in this era, the neighboring Tianhua City is in turmoil. Maybe Tianhua City will fall, and our Linen City will become the first city close to the border with the demonic beast domain. Therefore, this defense system is very important. Everyone nodded in agreement. Lin Xian said, "This person is quite creative. Who in their right mind would spend so much money to build a defense system? That's not very useful. For example, the building where your sister is. Even if there is a defense system, if the entire city falls, will the defense system still be useful?" Lin Xian said, "That's true. However, if it's used to deal with special attacks, or even a sudden attack before retreating, it will be very useful." Moreover, he also said that there is an airport at the top of the building. He should be a very cautious person, who will leave a way out for himself. The existence of the airport may not be for the helicopter to go somewhere, but to be able to escape in time of danger. Morongqing nodded slightly. This was indeed a person who would leave a way out for himself. That is to say, in fact, this building can really be used as a residence. Morongqing said slightly. This was a good idea. It might be very safe, but it was definitely not groundless fear, especially for the rich. The main thing was that this era was like this. They would rather spend more money to buy safety. Otherwise, flying spiritual weapons and defensive spiritual weapons would not be so rare and expensive. Did you think that this kind of spiritual weapon was rare? This was one point. The main thing was, they were all F*** with the rich. Did you think they were flying to experience flying? They were all F** used to escape in case of a special situation. It was too extravagant. Liao Jian then continued. The innermost room on the 32nd floor of the building is also the most special place in the entire building. Just this room alone costs more than 80 million yuan. Everyone was speechless. Mr. Liao, what kind of special room is this? Why did you spend so much money to strengthen it? Liao Jian smiled, and then the big screen showed an animation. Look, this is the part that I'm most satisfied with. This room is more like an independent place than a room in the skyscraper. The entire room is made of super miniature metal. In a word, this room is a fortress with super defensive ability. Zhang Tai said with a smile. Look everyone, this room is more like a fortress with super defensive ability. Everyone was dumbfounded. Liao Jian smiled and said, even if the entire building collapses, as long as you are in this room, even if the room falls from the 32nd floor, you will be fine. The room has a fixed position for the human body, and there are specially made reflective metal and reflective sponges. Even if you fall from a high distance, you will be fine. Its strength is enough to withstand the full blow of a domain realm expert. This, Mr. Liao, what's the meaning of this? Liao Jian smiled and said, the meaning is great. If the demonic beasts suddenly rush in, even if you can't escape in time, you will be safe here. You just have to find the time to escape. This room and all the other floors can be used as living quarters. This is my suggestion. I just hope that the building I built can at least allow the owner to have the ability to survive in times of danger. Plus, in the current era, with our location, this is a problem sooner or later. Do you still think this is unnecessary? Everyone nodded. That's true. We have indeed neglected this point. Although theoretically there is time to escape, if there is a special situation, it may not be so. For example, when Zhehai City was completely unprepared, a large number of demonic beasts rushed in, and there was also spatial teleportation. There was no time to defend at all. The demonic beasts rushed to every corner of Zhehai City in an instant. Escaping depends on fate. If there is such a place, it is indeed a guarantee for the lives of oneself and your family. Liao Jian nodded and said, that's right. If there is a little time, this room has a direct passage to the rooftop. If there is a helicopter on the rooftop, we can also leave as soon as possible. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. It was not to say that he was worrying for nothing, because what he said was very reasonable, but there were too many theories. But Lin Xian liked this kind of building. He liked it very much. Chapter 581. If Lin Xian was asked to build a skyscraper, or build his own home, Lin Xian would also choose to leave a way out for himself. Even if it wasn't for himself, he would give it to Linya. For example, leaving a way out for his own home. It was very, very important. Whether it was to deal with the monsters in the future, or the possibility of bad people sneaking into his home to commit murder, or to avoid danger. It was all very important. At least in this aspect, Lin Xian felt that Liao Jian was right. Of course, many people at the scene said that he was right and completely agreed with him. They felt that it was really unnecessary to spend so much money on groundless fears. Even if the monsters attacked, who would be stupid enough to hide in the skyscraper? They would have run away long ago. The so-called too late to escape did happen, but the probability was too small, right? If they were allowed to build it, they would definitely not do something unnecessary. However, they still had to buy it. This skyscraper was very important. In addition to its geographical value, it could also cooperate with Liao Jian. The money they would earn after the cooperation would definitely be more than what they invested now. Liao Jian then said, "This is probably the highlight of the skyscraper. I don't care if you want to build it into a business building, a work building, or even a place to live after taking over the building. In short, this skyscraper will protect your safety to the greatest extent. I suggest that you change the upper floors into your residence, and the lower floors into an office building. The area of the 3 floors alone is much larger than a normal villa." Everyone nodded slightly. Well, that's all for now. Everyone must be hungry. Then, let's start the auction as soon as possible. Then, a series of data flashed on the big screen. The entire Linen skyscraper, including all the renovations, completed facilities, technology and land, has a comprehensive geographical advantage. At the same time, it is also a key partner of the Lin and city government. I think everyone knows how big the opportunity is to cooperate with the Lin and city government. The overall starting price is 2.5 billion yuan. Each bid must not be less than 10 million yuan. Let's start now. Liao Jian looked down with a smile. The bidding began, and a fierce competition began below. 2.51 billion. 2.52 billion. 2.53 billion. Lin Xian was speechless. I thought it would be worth at most 1 billion. I didn't expect the starting price to be 2.5 billion. Lin Xian really couldn't take it anymore. Fortunately, if what this person said is true, then this building is indeed worth a lot of money. It has top-notch materials, top-notch technology, special rooms, and a golden geographical advantage. Just the land alone is worth hundreds of millions. The cooperation with the government is also very important. I heard that the Liao family is also cooperating with them. The starting price is 2.5 billion, and the final price may be about 4 billion. At least if the future development is normal, and with the value of the building itself, it won't be a loss. Morong Qing was naturally experienced in the Jianghu, and she was also a businesswoman. Of course, she understood these things. Then why didn't the Liao family use this building? Morong Qing smiled and said, "You are too young. The so-called advantage is aimed at the people present here. For him, he certainly does not lack cooperation with the government, and he does not lack buildings. He would rather quickly raise the price by auction and sell it to others to make money quickly. For him, if he uses it himself, the value of this building will be less than half of what it was auctioned off. These people who play tricks are really dirty." Morong Qing smirked as she looked at Lin Xian and said, "One day, you'll be as filthy as this." To be precise, this is a situation that everyone is well aware of. But they still have to jump in, because it's valuable to them. This is also unquestionable. Then what do you think? Lin Xian asked Morong Qing. Morong Qing certainly knew Lin Xian's thoughts and said, "If you really want it, I think it is a loss because in my opinion, you don't need the 2 important points of the cooperation between the government and the Liao family. Therefore, you may only spend about 4 billion to buy a building worth 2.5 billion. What do you think?" Lin Xian pondered slightly. "It is indeed so. But I have checked in Lin and City. In the past 6 months, there may be only one new building. If you don't choose this building and you really want it, then you can only buy other old buildings. Although they are relatively old, they are still very good, and the price will be much lower. Lin Xian pondered slightly. Of course, if you bid for this building, you will also have an advantage. This is well known. The geographical conditions are also very important. Although it is only a head office, if your company grows and sells the building, then the value will be very high. Normally, even if you buy it for 4 billion and don't cooperate with the Liao family, you won't lose out. Moreover, you will need a lot of factories, a lot of them. You can take this opportunity to discuss cooperation with the Liao family and the conquests. They can at least let you solve the problem of the factories relatively easily. Morongqing continued. Lin Xian nodded. Then let's bid. I have no problem with it. Anyway, you have 30 billion. That's right. Lin Xian had 30 billion. This 30 billion was not borrowed, but given to him by Morongqing in exchange for 5% of the shares. Then why would he care about the money? It was not his. 30 billion for 5% of the shares of a company that had not yet been established. To be honest, there would not be a second such event in the world. But the main thing was that Morongqing knew how profitable Lin Xian's business would be. She was losing out now. But in the future, 5% of the shares would be worth more than 30 billion. She believed that it was only a matter of time. Ouyang Jing, who was behind, was stunned when he heard the starting price. The starting price is 5 billion. Is this third-tier city a group brain? Originally, he thought that the total price would be about 1 billion. But who knew that the starting price would be 5 billion? Chen Emo said. Although it is a third-tier city, the scale of this building is still very large. If it is an equivalent building in our Tiandu, the starting price may be more than 5 billion. With the Liao family, the cooperation with the conquests is also a very important point. It was true that they were very rich, but remember their identity. They were only the sons of the 8 great families, and did not have any real power. Their money belonged to their families. At most, they earned it by relying on their family's power to do business. It was not a big problem to take out 1 billion, or 2 billion at once. But more than that, it was a bit unbearable. After all, their identity was like this. Even if it was the 8 great families, it was impossible for their children to casually take out tens of billions, right? So this building. Chapter 582. Ouyang Jing asked Chen Emo, Young Master Chen, how much can you offer? Chen Emo said, My current assets are about 5 billion. I can get 2 billion at most, but I don't think it's necessary. We will definitely lose money. If we stop Lin Xian at a loss, we won't make a profit. Ouyang Jing sighed slightly. It was too expensive. It was indeed a loss to use this method. Moreover, they didn't care about this place at all. They would never spend time and effort to manage this building. That meant that if they won the bid, they would definitely lose money, and it would be a huge loss. To stop Lin Xian at a loss of hundreds of millions was simply an idiot. Previously, Zhao Namfeng spent 1 billion. It was a lot, but he wouldn't lose money. He only needed time to earn it back. This time was different because the price might be a little high. That's not right. Why is Lin Xian auctioning this building? Ouyang Jing suddenly realized this. Chen Emo was the same. That's right. Although Lin Xian's family is better than ordinary people, it can only reach 100 million at most. This kind of billion-dollar auction is definitely not a place where he is qualified to come. What does he have to auction? Even the richest man in Tianhua City is just SO. Moreover, why is he auctioning this building? They couldn't understand. Could it be that he followed that woman here? Their gazes fell behind Morongqing. At this time, the price was still soaring, reaching 3 billion. But it was increasing by 10 million. Bid. I'm a little hungry. I want to have lunch. Morongqing said to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and raised his sign. 5 billion. Hiss. Everyone gasped and looked at Lin Xian. Although they expected the price to be more than 5 billion, he couldn't just raise it by 500 million, right? They were just testing the waters by increasing it by 10 million. Everyone looked at Lin Xian in unison. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. What's wrong? He just didn't want to raise the price by 10 million. It was too much of a waste of time. Sir, are you sure you want to raise the price by 500 million? The beautiful auctioneer confirmed. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, 5 billion. Wait. At this moment a voice came from behind. Everyone turned around and saw Ouyang Jing standing up. He sneered and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian also saw him. Well, as expected, he came with them. They were here to discuss people. Sir, what can I do for you? Liao Jian looked at Ouyang Jing. Ouyang Jing then said, what I mean is that the auction is fine, but we also need to know if there is anyone who can afford the price. I know this gentleman. His name is Lin Xian, and he is a citizen of Tianhua City. His family has some money, but his annual income is around 10 million. So I don't understand. How can he afford the price of 5 billion? To be honest, the difference between an annual income of 10 million and an auction of 5 billion was huge. Relying on the woman beside him? How could a woman from a third-tier city have the spare money to auction a building worth 3 to 4 billion? There were probably only a few people in the entire Tianhua City who could do that. Moreover, she was so young. Tianhua City couldn't be compared to Linan City. After all, it was the most border city. Because of this, many people would give up on investing in this city. Hence, it was getting worse year by year. Among the hundreds of auctioneers present, half of them were here to buy soy sauce. The remaining half probably had loans to participate in this auction. The remaining half were those who had the ability to auction. However, Tianhua City was much weaker than this. Hence, he didn't think that Lin Xian had the ability to participate in the auction. Why would he bid then? In Ouyang Jing's eyes, he was more likely to be Liao Jian's burden. He was using him to raise the price, and then take the money. Hearing Ouyang Jing's words, everyone was stunned. Your company's annual income was over 100 million. But you were not qualified to participate in this auction. An annual income of 10 million? That was even more impossible. In this kind of upper-class society, everyone was very cautious. When doing business, they would worry about the other party's methods and so on. Hence, when they heard this unusual sentence, they were all brainstorming. Could there be some kind of conspiracy in this? Liao Jian and everyone else looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian laughed, then looked at Ouyang Jing and said, I say, whether I have the ability to participate in this auction or not is none of your business, right? Yes, you're right. My family does have an annual income of 10 million. And it's not me, it's my sister. However, how do you know that I don't have the ability to participate in this auction? What if I don't have the ability to pay 5 billion? As everyone knows, auctions are legally binding. If I bid this price and can't afford it, I'm afraid I'll be in jail for the rest of my life. Little brother, aren't you being too ridiculous? Ouyang Jing's face darkened. However, because of this, no one else dared to bid. Lin Xian then raised another sign. 6 billion. Is there anyone else? If no one else, I'll pay. Whether or not I can afford it, you'll know soon enough. Liao Jian's face darkened. This person who suddenly spoke was courting death. Originally, the auction could go on step by step, but because of his words, these people began to have fear and doubt in their hearts, causing them to not dare to bid too much. If there was no group of people competing, then what was the point of bidding? Then how would the price be raised? He originally estimated it to be 4 billion, but now, 6 billion. Of course 6 billion was still a profit in terms of cost. But who would complain about earning too much? He might lose the 400 million he had spent for nothing. As expected, Lin Xian raised the price by another 100 million, but no one followed. Ouyang Jing sat down with a gloomy face. I'd like to see if you can afford it. He, the young master of the Ouyang family of one of the 8 great families, could not afford this price. How could a piece of trash from a third-tier city afford it? Relying on the woman beside him? Then why did he have to bid? 6 billion, no one bid. 6 billion going once. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? The beauty swept her gaze across the crowd. 6 billion going twice. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? They wanted to, but for some reason they did not dare to. This was not a few thousand or a few hundred, but a few billion. As long as they had the slightest doubt in their hearts, it would expand infinitely. If not, the entire family company would be finished. 6 billion going thrice. Bang! As the hammer closed, applause rang out in the hall. Liao Jian's expression softened a little. He was a little unhappy that 400 million was less than his estimate. But that was it. Out of 6 billion yuan, the construction cost was indeed 3 billion yuan. Although he had earned more than 1 billion yuan, it was not a loss for Lin Xian. He might be able to earn more than 1 billion yuan from them and the government. Chapter 583. Everyone looked at Lin Xian and the rest. Congratulations! Since ancient times, heroes come from the young. To be able to afford 6 billion at such a young age, it's really extraordinary. Yeah, us old people have to learn. For a moment, those people were exchanging greetings crazily. Liao Jian smiled and said, "Congratulations to this gentleman for bidding 6 billion for Lin and building." Ouyang Jing's face turned ugly. That was because he saw the faint smile on Lin Xian's face. Could he really afford it? Pay up. After Lin Xian finished speaking, he walked over with Morongqing and Ling Longyue. Ouyang Jing frowned. Could it be that this brat is still pretending to be a big-tailed wolf? Ouyang Jing found it unbelievable. The possibility is not high. What he said is not wrong. The bidding has legal effect. He wouldn't dare. Chinemo said, "Let's go and take a look." Then they walked over. Lin Xian was signing a contract with Liao Jian and the transfer agreement. "Mr. Lin Xian, this is the building's property certificate, land certificate, and a series of documents. Please take a look. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask." Lin Xian did not understand these things. "Let me take a look." Morongqing took it. Miss, may I ask who you are?" Liao Jian looked at Morongqing. At such a close distance, he felt more deeply how charming this woman was. Never before had he felt so impulsive when facing a woman. This woman's beauty could make him lose his mind and do some things. As the old saying goes, femme fatale. This was not just a joke. When a woman's charm reached a certain level, even an emperor would be captivated and do some unimaginable things. This was also a precedent. Morongqing smiled faintly and said, "I'm his secretary." Everyone, "Oh my God." This seemingly young man had actually found such a heaven-defying and charming secret technique? Was it just a simple secret technique? To be honest, no one believed it. After all, they were all CEOs of major companies, and they knew all too well what men were thinking. Which King CEO wouldn't want to find a beautiful secret technique to do something with? How many of those present hadn't done such a thing before? However, why was there such a huge gap between them? Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. What was this woman trying to do? Not far away, Ouyang Jing and Li Qie were even more confused. Lin Xian's secret techniques? How could this be? When they were on the star cloud carriage, the relationship between them didn't seem like the relationship between a boss and a secret technique at all. Besides, what right did Lin Xian have to be the boss? Then, Morongqing helped Lin Xian look through the contracts and said, "There's no problem. Just sign it." Then, Lin Xian signed his name and handed his ID card to them to make a copy. Morongqing took out a card and handed it to Liao Jian. Liao Jian nodded to the woman next to him and completed the transaction in front of these people. "All right, our cooperation is officially complete. The other two of you can continue to cooperate with my Liao's group. At the same time, you will also cooperate with the government. These contracts are all clearly stated, and the documents are all here," Liao Jian said. "Kaka." Ouyang Jing clenched his fist. How could this be? 36 billion, and it was really a deal? He couldn't understand, he really couldn't understand. So much so that he made himself look like a clown. "Let's go." Then he left the place angrily. He couldn't understand. He roughly knew Lin Xian's family background. It was possible for him to take out 100 million, a few hundred million, but a few billion? He really couldn't understand. He still had to investigate. Lin Xian nodded. "But now, I have something to trouble you with, President Liao. Liao Jian smiled and said, of course, no problem. You all can have lunch with me and have a good talk. Lin Xian nodded. Then, Liao Jian looked at the crowd and said, then I won't accompany you all. The lunch is already prepared. You can enjoy it as you wish. Mr. Lin, please. Then, they moved together to a private room in a 5-star hotel. The table was filled with delicious food, which made Ling Longyue happy. Sure enough, Lin Xian didn't lie to her. He brought her out to eat delicious food. Liao Jian didn't believe that Morongqing was Lin Xian's secret technique. At his position, he was quite good at judging people. How could a secret technique have such an amazing temperament? This was definitely not a temperament that a secret technique could have. But no matter what, he had his eyes on this woman. He must think of a way to get his hands on her. The first thing he had to do was to please her. What did a woman want? Money, care. In his opinion, it should be because Lin Xian was rich that she followed him. But he, Liao Jian, was also rich. As long as he treated her better than Lin Xian, wouldn't that be enough? Although Ouyang Jing said that Lin Xian's family was poor, everything was the truth. If he could take out 6 billion to buy this building, he was rich. This was the truth. So what if he played with her? A woman of this level, even if she had been played with many times, just based on her temperament, appearance, and figure, men would still go crazy for her. He had a wife at home, but if he could have a lover of this level, his life would be complete. Mr. Lin, do you have any questions? Liao Jian smiled and poured a glass of wine for Lin Xian. He wanted to give it to Morongqing, but she refused. I'll just have a drink. Liao Jian didn't force it. Lin Xian said, it's like this. I'm preparing to build some factories in Linen City, but I'm from Tianhua City and don't know anything about Linen City. So I thought that since Mr. Liao is the boss of Linen City, you must have some methods, right? I thought it would be something big. Liao Jian smiled and said, Mr. Lin, factories are a piece of cake. What can't you do with money? Lin Xian shook his head. I don't mean to build, but to get the existing factories. That's easy. There are many factories that can't work. Just give them money and let them leave tomorrow. Lin Xian said, I understand that, but Mr. Liao, you don't understand my real meaning. I mean that you're familiar with this area and know which places are suitable. Also, I need a large number of factories. A large number? How many? A few dozen. Liao Jian frowned. What was he trying to do? He directly auctioned a 6 billion building, and then a few dozen factories. A few dozen was just the beginning. He might need hundreds in the future. At least in the early stage, Lin Xian had hundreds of millions of Adonis points. A few dozen factories weren't enough, but it was enough for now. There's an industrial area in the suburbs of Linen City. It's quite big. Mr. Lin, you can go there and take a look. Most importantly, it's easy to do anything with money. Liao Jian smiled. Chapter 584. Money? Of course not. The beauty beside him was a pure rich woman. Anyway, whether it was buying a building or doing something else, Lin Xian did not need to spend a single cent. It all belonged to Morongqing, who would be so King comfortable. Morongqing did not feel any heartache. She only needed to know that now that she had no money, she could earn more in the future. She had originally come to work with Lin Xian to get Lin Xian's formula so that the holy sanctum could develop. In the end, they had indeed worked together. She did not expect that 30 billion in exchange for 5% of the shares. She was drunk, but she could not force others. If it was fated, it would be fated. If it was not, one should not force it. The industrial area, most of them are still in business. This is a bit difficult. Morongqing rubbed her delicate chin and said. Liao Jian heard Morongqing's words and quickly said, no problem. I will take you to the industrial area in the afternoon. As long as there is money, it will be fine. Of course, with my face, I will not let you lose much. But since most of them are still in business, I naturally have to give them some benefits. Thank you, Mr. Liao. Lin Xian smiled and raised his glass. Here's to you. Liao Jian smiled and clinked glasses with them. But Liao Jian looked hesitant. He looked at Lin Xian and Morong Qing. It's like this. After all, I have some status in Lin and City. They will also give me face. I can only say that I did it. So when the time comes, I will have to trouble Miss Morong to impersonate my secret technique. Morong Qing smiled faintly and said, No problem. Then Mr. Lin, what do you think? Lin Xian said, No problem, I'll let her follow you. I won't go either. Morong Qing can represent my wishes. Of course, Lin Xian knew what Liao Jian meant. Liao Jian wanted to send him away, so that he could be alone with Morong Qing. This was also the reason why he was so attentive. Morong Qing also knew that she deliberately said this. Anyway, Lin Xian was relieved that Liao Jian would not be able to take advantage of Morong Qing. He would even be charmed by her. She was a seductress. Women femme fatale. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Liao Jian was overjoyed. He didn't expect to be able to send Lin Xian away so easily. The afternoon would be his home ground. Then, Lin Xian pretended to look at Morong Qing and said, Follow Mr. Liao this afternoon, and do a good job. I'll leave the money with you. Do a better job. Yes, boss. Morong Qing chuckled. She had to hand it to him. She had to run with him, spend her money, and put in the effort. But how should I put it? One was willing to hit while the other was willing to be hit. All right. I'll contact the directors and bosses of the major factories in the industrial zone after dinner and gather them together. Since Chief Lin is willing to trust me, I'll naturally help you settle this matter properly. In the future, there will be a lot of cooperation between us. Liao Jian smiled. Then I'll have to trouble you, Mr. Liao. Liao Jian was very curious as to why Lin Xian wanted so many factories at the same time. What kind of business did he want to do? Did he want to start with such a big business? But he didn't care about these. He only cared about Morong Qing. This woman, if he could do it once, he would be willing to give up a year of his life. This wasn't an exaggeration. She was just a secretary. How could she be clean? So after this afternoon, he would have a private chat with Morong Qing, have a meal, and give her more benefits. Wouldn't that be the end of it? In the afternoon, Morong Qing followed Liao Jian. Lin Xian brought Ling Longwei out to play. In the past, Lin Xian would only take her out for a meal. But in the afternoon and evening, Lin Xian brought her to various amusement parks, video game rooms, scenic spots, and even disco dancing. Ling Longwei was overjoyed. As for Ling Longyue's favorability towards Lin Xian, because of playing for an afternoon and half a night, her favorability had reached 42. After all, she was still a little girl. She was easily satisfied. If you treated her well, she would be able to feel it. When they returned to the hotel, it was already 11 p.m. Ling Longyue was tired from playing. The hotel was the Rose Paradise Presidential Suite. Lin Xian, where are we going to play tomorrow? Ling Longyue laid on the bed and looked at Lin Xian with anticipation. Tomorrow? I don't know. Let's see how it goes. He had to stay in Lin and City for a few more days to finish up the factories. So he had to play. It could be considered a vacation for himself. And I want to rest. You can go back first. Go back for what? Lin Xian said with a smirk. Go back and rest. We still have to play tomorrow. Can't I rest here? This room is so big. Ling Longyue. Go to hell. Stinking hooligan. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xian then left helplessly. Stinking hooligan. Ling Longyue pouted her lips, and her face was actually a little pink. Lin Xian returned to his room and chatted with Morong Qing. It turned out that Morong Qing was watching a movie with Liao Jian. This matter was not completely settled yet. They still needed this Liao Jian. If it was just Lin Xian alone, he could get these factories. However, it would take more time. Thank you for your hard work. Lin Xian sent a message to Morong Qing. Go to hell. Even if I started my own business, when did I end up like this? It's all because of you. How are you going to compensate me? Of course, Morong Qing was unhappy. You can compensate me however you want. Then, 5% more shares? Lin Xian. My phone is dead. I'm going to sleep. Goodbye. Morong Qing. Bastard. F***ck. Bastard. I want to beat him up. However, Lin Xian felt comfortable. This Morong Qing and Liao Jian had bought a total of 13 factories in the afternoon. Of all sizes, 13 was actually not bad. However, Lin Xian wanted at least 25. It should be done by tomorrow. However, the money spent was not small, close to 800 million. However, it did not belong to Lin Xian. Comfortable. Therefore, Lin Xian really wanted to thank Morong Qing. However, shares he still could not give her more. The next morning, Lin Xian brought Ling Longyue downstairs for breakfast. He saw Morong Qing already sitting in the corner. Morning. Lin Xian smiled and walked over. Morong Qing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Morning? The 13 contracts are in my room. I'll bring them to you later. There's no hurry. Do you think I don't trust you? Lin Xian smiled. I have a big problem with you. Lin Xian smiled. Why? Did Liao Jian take advantage of you last night? He dares. You bunch of stinky men are all the same. Morong Qing stretched her body. Instantly, many people who were secretly sizing her up stared at her. Even though Lin Xian had been with her for a long time, her charm still had a huge impact on Lin Xian. Today is the last day. It should be done. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? Morong Qing looked at Lin Xian. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.